Hello, ladies, gents, and non-binaries, and welcome to Talent our 6 week 8. Sorry, I just dropped my pen, but we're not about to drop this game. It's Team R or R Esports versus Machine Soldiers. Oh, sorry, not Machine Soldiers, but what was basically the whole Machine Soldiers roster and Barney's Trusted Dinosaur. Both of these teams are separated by 5 points, but also 4 spots away from each other on the minor league standings. I'm Wumby, and I'm joined by none other, the amazing, the wonderful Jaeger.
Hello, Wombi. I'm excited to cast him, It's my first time casting X Machine Soldiers since they're still in the league, but it's not the same team. So I am very excited to watch them again and cast over these players again because some of them,
Nice
of course,
start.
are my mates. But let's waffle aside. Can we start into the game? Because I think we are already off schedule by a little bit. We can talk a little bit
Mhm.
about everything as we go into the game. So I think all the players are ready. So we're just gonna go straight into the game, and as the bands go through, we will start talking about the game, the players, and what it actually means for the league overall. So here are the players, and we are into the game. So Wambi, why don't you run us through the standings right now and let us know what exactly happens if Barney wins, Barney loses. What does it mean for the top two players, the standings, the promotions? For someone who is completely uneducated about it, just give them a little bit of a rundown.
So obviously, our esports are in seventh place. Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs are in third on 15 points. are on 10. If they win this game, well, it doesn't really mean much to their overall standings. They'll just be one place ahead of Team Invictum. That's quite literally it, and they'll still be below teams like Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs, Nerf Miners, Guardians Alpha, fifth and the third, and it doesn't really matter on a grand scheme of things. For Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs, if they're able to win this game, they put themselves onto 18 points and they propel themselves up into second. So, in the grand scheme of things, this game doesn't really change much on the overall standings. Both teams could get a point here today, but I'm pretty sure neither of them will be satisfied with just a single point, especially if everything is said and done. And depending on how both of these teams play today, a point will probably be unjustified for the both of them.
Yeah, like you said, the standings right now, I'm just gonna run it through. I don't know if you have a graphic or anything like that, but Golden is in first on 19 points, Atten in second with 15, Barney's on third with 15 as well, Nerf Minor on fourth with 14, Team Guardians on 14 again in fifth, and it goes down a bit, and Aura in seventh on 10 points. So like Wombi said, Aura winning this game or losing this game doesn't really impact it too much, but this is a pretty important game for Barney's. If they want to be knocking on that door for that top
Defenders,
two
protect your
places,
bomb
they kind of need
located by
to be,
attackers.
winning these kind of games. So, we're not even talking about the map or the band there, Wombi. We're going, as you can see in front of us, we are playing Oregon here. Pretty standard band, Thatcher, Cain, Flores, Mira, and you're gonna see them go
Attackers have located
upstairs
the bomb.
first. You're gonna be bringing a pretty nade, anti-nade heavy, setup. They have the Lumai, they have the Jaeger, they have this Koyo, the Lucy. It's a pretty impressive lineup. What do you think?
Yeah, obviously I've made my opinions on Goyo known. I feel like the changes
10
to
seconds
him
left.
are more of a buff rather than just a
I
simple
agree. Yeah.
rework.
5 seconds
Especially
remaining.
due to the fact that now instead of just 2 Vulcan canisters or 2 Vulcan shields, he gets
Attackers
4 of them.
objective is
And the
defuse
delay
the bomb.
time on those Vulcan canisters, they're like quite literally 20 seconds. So they can last for about like uh damn near half of a minute or for the rest of the end round, depending on how slow the attacking team is. So I mean, it's just a simple lineup, and I feel like Goyo. This is a Oregon is a staple map for him, just because he can cut off so many entry points inside of the map or in and around the sites. Especially if you put his Vulcan canisters in places like top of white stairs, or for example, somewhere on the trophy entrance. And it seems for our esports, their main aggress is going to be towards the small tower side, so they might be running into Goyo canisters. I haven't seen one of them be placed. I know he placed all 4 of them, but where he's placed them, I don't really know. Densar still persisting on his first floor for Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs, as well as RE Sports. They're moving inside of this map. They're moving in pretty quickly around this west side.
Nades are coming up from below. I'm not sure if they are aware of this Belusi playing. Well, now they definitely are. He goes on a swing and he actually loses that gunfight finger on one single HP. That is a little bit unfortunate then. Hit your head next time, but that gives an opening pick into the hands of our Esports, who have taken so much map control already so early into the round. No real bottom 4 presence coming out from the side of BTD setup-wise at least. And that's the second kill into the hands of Rose as he gets that player of Oil that we were talking about so much just a few seconds ago. And now, in a 2-man advantage, almost 3-man there as Shaq peeks way so aggressively there. It puts all the cards into the hands of Aura Esports. They can take as much time as they want. They have so much time. They can get ready to execute on these things.
Yep. Goyo canisters are going to be popped as well to hold off these Aura Esports players. Only 3 of these Barney Trusted Dinosaurs players remain. Like you've said, smoke grenades go out. And Venoms, he only does have 1 left, and once that gas canister is used, well, there isn't going to be any utility on the side of this defense to be able to slow down this impending attack, this impending doom that Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs will eventually face. Splashes do go out. A player is positioned on the big window, but also look at Rose's position inside of Attic. Gonna move his way into pit, might catch the smoke off guard, can shoot him in the feet if he's not too careful. And look, there you go. It's a nice little kill from Rose, spotting out those feet of the smoke, a follow-up from Pakumu, and now we're in a 1v4 situation. Shock, very low on HP, still getting the plant down, and he has so many angles that he needs to watch out for. Our Esports, if they play this post point correctly, Ayana looks the wrong way, expecting the rotate to come up main stairs. There goes another kill for Shock, but he doesn't know about the player's position behind him in the attic. It doesn't matter because the player in front of him is going to be able to shut him down. Our Esports grab the first round on Oregon on their attack.
A bit closer than expected, probably Bumby getting 2 kills there, especially, and also the Finka was also on 1 HP. So it was definitely getting a bit too scary for Aura, you know, a bit of a throw moment, but they did get the round over the line. So, you know, sweat's being wiped off the brows there, I guess you could say. But like I mean, if you had to go back into the round, you know, there was almost like no bottom 4 presence at all, no utility, because Oregon has evolved in such a way, Bumby, that nowadays when you're trying to hold the side, you always have some kind of setup downstairs by that bathroom side, by kitchen, trying to, you know, be a bit more of a menace with the ADS, some Goyo challenges like you said, which we didn't see any downstairs. There's no shield, there's nothing there, and when you're bringing a setup like Uncle Mai and a Jaeger at the same time, I feel like you can afford to have some of this setup downstairs to help deal with this early aggression from the side.
Yeah, interestingly enough, they decide to drop the Goyo in place of, I believe, there's a going on to the Jaeger. I'm not too sure. Yep, the Jaeger. I think so. It doesn't matter. They dropped the Goyo, so that's a lot of time wasting utility off of the board. And you know, I mean, in place of the Aruni, which yeah, I'm thinking that is the Aruni. Yep, it is the Aruni. So sorry, because they had Wamai and Jaeger last time. My fault. But yep, in place of the Aruni, she can do not as good of a job as Goyo, I was gonna say, but she can like burn utility out with her Aruni gates, because if any of the flash grenades, if any grenades pass through those Aruni gates, they get immediately zapped and they can be used no longer. So, you know, there goes that for Aruni. And she can also kind of just slow down the attack as well, because those Aruni gates will be in her way. Now, it's going to be a simple attack from our Esports, not attacking on the west side like they did last time, but instead going for a more traditional split take. But they didn't account Venoms being inside of Closet, because he's able to aggress on Sill and take out their only hard breacher besides Maverick.
These angles being contested vertically by both the Aruni as well as this Melusi, and they do manage to get that kill as well. Man advantage is in the favor of BTD at this point, when they're all the way downstairs, but it doesn't look like the Melusi is aware of this Maverick, or sorry, this Iana coming up right behind her, so she's gonna smartly decide to opt away if that's good game sense or not. But look at this, a rotate here, that's going to be a freebie for the side of this Iana, and this brings it back into a 3v3. But 1B, you have to remember that that player was still all the way down in basement, and that could be a key factor late into this round. You can see that they're playing all the way down bottom main stairs, I think, still waiting for someone to come peek, and that's exactly what they're going to do now. The drone, no one so smartly doesn't shoot it, because shooting it will give away his position potentially. He's just staying below here, seeing if any of these players are trying to aggress. But unfortunately for him, all of these Aura players are by rare stays, are stacking up to this big tower, expecting it to be a kind of rush here. It's going to be all into Shock to see if he can hold it. There doesn't seem to be any other support, because as you can see, that one wall that usually could be open is not open. He gets one shot, but he is hit it out almost immediately by the Paka Mu of Finka. And now it's back into a 2v2. Then he needs to rotate upstairs with 50 seconds left. It can't all be on Venom. There's one player on the rotate. They know the position of both these players at this point. Rudy is going to be here trying to take this gunfight in case someone decides to swing in. But it seems to be so patient from the side of BTD. They don't want to give anything away.
Yep. 2v2, like you've mentioned, smoke grenades are going to go out just to push these attackers back a little bit. There is a player rotated outside of the kid's dorm's window. Then Sar, probably expecting the play. He's looking behind him, but there goes the jump in as well. So now we're in a 1v1. Noms is taken down too. There was swing from Suki being caught out from Den. The plant gonna have to go down. Den doesn't have anything necessarily to deny this plant. No nitro, so no nothing. But he does have pings. He should know by the pings that the plant is going down just from the sound cues from that camera. But it doesn't. He doesn't, and he doesn't rush it on time. It's an easy kill from Pakamoon just because he has that LMG in hand. Direct gunfights taken with those LMGs. Well, the player with the LMG is just gonna shut him down because LMG superiority on this game. It sucks.
Yep. That is the quote-unquote meta, as everyone says, LMG meta. They need to nerf the LMGs, but overall it was just good crosshair placement and game sense from Pakamu. Whether that was sound or just, I think it was just a combination of sound and game experience, the fact that you know where to aim exactly. So it didn't really matter what gun he had because he was going to get that regardless. But, I mean, he's 7-0 right now, so I don't want to say carrying his team because obviously the other team is also putting in work to get him that space and get him to that position where he can retry easily. But he is really doing a good job at getting those frags and helping his team get towards the line because he is currently the only player on his team with more than 20 kills. There's only 3 players on the team who even have a kill, and one of them is only Suki on 1. So it's more of a one-man army from Aura so far. But BTD, they're gonna opt to go downstairs in about last round. They've given up on this top floor hold and decided smartly maybe it's time to go to a bit more of a safer and a more comfort side in Oregon.
Yeah. One thing that's been, well, I mean, both of these teams in the last 2 rounds have been able to get the first pick for, you know, their respective teams. But I feel like for Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs, especially when they're on the defense, I feel like maybe they're just a little bit too aggressive and they surrender easy picks not too early on, but like just too easily to our Esports, and it gives them that advantage. But it looks to be a rush from our Esports. They have the blitz in play, they have the shots, but so do Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs as they regain their lead of 4v2. Rose seemingly stuck in elbow, and so is Pakamu, who's pinned and downed as well. Rose now in a 1v4 situation, gonna get a nice headshot onto Deza. But for the most part, this rush was failed from R. They tried it, failed it miserably. And it is an easy recovery from Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs.
Venom is in chat, just adding a bit of a comedy, I guess you could say, as someone who would get off cams and see that. But I mean, Wombi, what do you like? This is a rush that we've seen more and more often. I think it started, a season ago, or last Pro League, where teams just started putting this in the back. Like you've seen this kind of rush happen almost like once every time Oregon is played. So I'm not really sure exactly how viable it is anymore, you know, because these kind of rushes that happen are usually based if teams are caught off guard, right? But you never really see teams being caught off guard anymore by it because of how common it's become. So, you know, I don't know, nowadays especially, I feel like it's not really the thing that you should be going for.
Yeah, no. Especially if, again, the reason why that rush worked is because Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs, they were just positioned correctly. They were positioned correctly in order to stop it. They held multiple cross angles, especially from inside of E-Box. There was a player in Harry Potter going into Shaiko, and then there were multiple players just watching Freddy. Since they lost control of elbow in like a pretty convincing fashion, Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs, they also just backed off from elbow. A player did die in elbow, that was a smoke, but they backed off of elbow, played inside of freezer, and just waited for R to come in into their line of fire. Our Esports didn't really do anything to clear those angles because they were just rushing, and they have, you know how brains work when you're rushing inside of a site. They don't work at all because you don't think about the angles that could be held against you. And so Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs, I mean, it was a good stop to what seemed to be just a quick rush. Usually a lot of teams aren't able to react on time. They're not able to figure out what's going on in that moment. But since they had the intel that the rush was coming in so fast off of cameras and whatnot, they were able to shut it down quickly. Speaking of shutting down really quickly, Seal is going to be taken care of early on in this matchup, and that's already the Habana down and out for R.
is a really good first pick, you know. Not only the fact that they've got the Hibana, but it is a player off the board very early into the round, which means that BTD can afford to take things a bit more slower now. They don't have to be as aggressive as they normally are. They don't have to be this hyper aggressive, like you said in the few earlier rounds. We pointed out how they've been giving away a lot of space by giving away so many free picks. But now that they do have the man advantage, they can afford to be a bit more passive. But that's not exactly what Discount is doing, because he is picking everything right now, and he gets that freebie second, and suddenly it is down all onto the hands of Sledge. He was crouch walking all the way from that green corridor, but he can only do as good as one, because the Legion is there for the refrag, and that is a shutdown from the side of BTD. Almost call them machine soldiers. Help myself, BTD.
I don't really know what the plan was for our esports. It just kind of like rushing inside of the map with no plan on where they wanted to attack and how they wanted to get inside of that site. Again, the Habana is dead early on, and that happened on the in the second round as well on kids dorms, where it wasn't really, it didn't Seal didn't die the same way that he did in that second round. The way that he died was because nobody from R joined out small closet, and Venoms was able to just aggress onto him without Seal being able to recognize, well, what the hell just happened. You know, they didn't get that intel on that player in closet, and he got punished for it. This time Seal is on the outside of white trucks holding the main lobby, a position that's normally for your fraggers, for your Finka, to be able to cut off those rotations from the defense. And again, this is on kids' dorms. You know, you need your Habana to be able to take care of that master bedroom wall, but they couldn't even get inside of the map to properly do their execution right. And that's just poor usage of their hard breaches utility, but also just a poor push in general. No real direction in where they wanted to go, and it just seemed discombobulated from the start.
Yeah, and another thing to point out is the drone game, you know. It's Oregon, you already know where most players are going to play, so might as well just drone it out. You know, we've seen so many times recently where people are getting misdroned, and when people get misdroned in Oregon, there's always a sense of complacency where people will try to take control of areas on the map, which usually they think are free, but they are not, and that usually ends up costing a lot of rounds. You know, I'm thinking back to even in the highest of highest tiers in tier 1, in EU and NA, but hold that for just a second, because Iaz or Lays just went. Was that a wallbang? I'm not sure exactly what that was, but whatever it was a man advantage side up, or I think it's a second pick, but Deza is there to stop the so I think it's one, but not more than that, because the Finka is there for that refrag and bringing it back into that 2-man lead as the round starts to slow down a little. It's on the hands of Venoms and Shock. Shock's been playing pretty well, but Lays, he seems to be aware of his position of this player, maybe because you can see he's being a bit cautious around there as the round has slowed down. He's expecting someone maybe, and you can see that wallbang. That is truly unfortunate, and that is all under the hands of V7 Noms. Venoms, his position is unknown. He does get that first pick, but he's all the way downstairs. The call is going to come out, and now he has it all to do with one.
Interestingly enough, Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs decided to go on the kitchen dining. Now, the negative that, the main thing that happened and it's why Venoms is in this 1v3 situation is the top 4 control just crumbled under Aura's pressure, but also because of the first pick by Showers. Usually, kitchen dining is not a hard site to break down just because of how easy it is to get small tower control. Now, Venoms doesn't see the player right below him. I think he does hear that sound. He doesn't get that kill. The plant goes down, and now he's stuck in a. Now, we've already said he's stuck in a 1v3 position, but now he's stuck in a 1v3 for a post plant for our esports. They have players around able to cut off the rotations from Venoms. One of them gets slapped in the face, and that's the twitch of Rose. Venoms now moving himself into Showers, back out into shower corridor, but now back into Showers. Clearly in a frantic of where he wants to go. Our esports are playing this really well, and it's Pakamu to play. You know, what is that? What's that game? Is it Whack-A-Mole against Venoms? And it is Aura to get their third round. Reclaim that lead now on their attack, and they could easily take this half 4-2, but Barney shows the Dinosaurs could tie it up on the half.
I mean, well, you just gotta be thinking, if he got that kill onto the hatch on the side of Pakamu, then because of the yellow pings onto that twitch, it was back to 1v1, and you start to wonder, and there was still quite a bit of time left. It was very doable, but we didn't get that kill, so we can't really talk about that scenario because it didn't even happen. But finally BTD can go back to basement, and we'll finally be able to see an aura attack or basement that is an actual attack and not just a straight up blitz or shift W. I mean, maybe we'll still see it. You never know. Maybe teams will try it again because it'll be so unexpected that it happened once. It might happen again. But from the lineup currently, doesn't look like anyone's six-picking onto that blitz, so don't expect to see anything of that. It's going to be more of a standard take, I would assume, of people trying to clear our top floor, getting the hatches done, and then going for an E-box drop late, or maybe into a main stairs con. But we'll find out exactly what it is because the round is starting right about now. It doesn't seem... Oh, the Ying play. You gotta remember the Ying being bought does look to be a more of an E-box take overall.
Yeah. You know, the thing about Ying that's like really interesting on Oregon is how like I think this rings true as well on Cafe when it comes to Skylight executes as well. She's just really deadly at catching the defense off guard, especially on this basement site. And again, like you said, the name of the game for Aura might just be an E-box or like a rear stage / E-box hatch execute, where they can hit the site hard with this Ying and the defense won't know what hit them, but Barney's just a dinosaur as well. They have a couple of players on this first floor. Grenades are going to be cooked from Suki, aiming at server. Doesn't get a kill, doesn't even do damage to the player that's in server as well. And keep in mind that that player in server, which I believe is Densar, is going to have support from Freezer Stirs as well. So a beautiful bit of crossfire established from Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs, but this hold from Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs also, you know, taking a bit of time to be disconstructed. Now, the Ying is going to be the first to fall. He's not been scouted out inside of Classroom, has Deza, but he is quickly traded out by Rose, who's made his way into meeting. So now R can work off of this pick, work off of Rose's position, and be able to pinch the remaining players that exist inside of server, plus at the top of Freezer Stairs.
Yeah, a couple of Ks, Ying being taken off just completely eliminates that complete shock factor, like you said, to catch them off guard. So it's going to be a bit more difficult because, as the time ticks down in a basement defense, when the defenders have equal or / above man advantage, that's like at least one or the safe amount of players, it usually ends up in their favor because they're just so tightly compact. They have so many crossfires and so many cross angles that it is so difficult for attackers to be able to break through into a position where they can get more than one or two at a time. But it does look like it's going to be a freezer execute, maybe? Sorry, a main stairs execute, as a few smoke characters are taken. But it just actually, more than anything, it's just a bunch of pressure being applied everywhere, just seeing what kind of sticks as smoke characters are being wasted on main stairs where Suki is going. I'm not really sure exactly where all the players are going. You can see one player there, and maybe it's going to be an E-box drop. You do see some players going to the side of bunker as well. There's one kind of everywhere, but you can see a pick comes out from Dens as he gets Pakuto. That's a pick with gone, and that's your entry player who gets all the kills, and losing them is not the best. Venus does get down, however, so it does give this last player a bit of hope. With 30 seconds left, Rosai has the world to climb as it is a 1v3 situation, but look at Dens' position as well. It seems to be such an off angle. It doesn't look like it's going to be checked, and that is a freebie for him. And Rosé, nothing else he could do there. Got his one and nothing more, and that is a 3-3 split, Wombi.
Yep. Once they lost the Ying, it seems like they lost that little bit of unpredictability. Rose, I felt like he was in a good position to help pinch those players that existed in Freezer, but Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs smartly backed off back into the site and just played long angles, played those angles where our esports were planning to come into. And Ara just played perfectly into those line of sights. Now Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs, they get the lead, or not, they don't get the lead, sorry. They draw that half, making it 3-3 on their attack. And now the primary site for Ara is going to be basement. Last time out for Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs, their primary site was kids, and then they picked basement, where they didn't really have the best well, no, it was like 50-50, the same as kids, or I can't really, kids was a little bit more successful, but we also saw some experimentation from Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs, willing to try out both kitchen meeting and kitchen dining, despite kitchen meeting and kitchen dining not being the most popular site choices. So we'll see what's in store for R on their defenses.
It does seem to be that first site is going to be basement, like you said. It's always a big comfort site, and you can already see a bit of different adaptations. They have the hatches open, so I'm going to assume that all of the defenders are going to be trying to be playing upstairs, and then eventually, go from the west side of the map, which is by small tower, and slowly make their way through kitchen, all the way back into meeting, and then drop the hatch back into site, wasting a lot of time. That is usually the kind of setups that happen when that meeting hatch is open. Alternatively, it also just could be that the hatch could accidentally open from below, because it doesn't seem to be that anyone's even playing upstairs. And if that is the case, well, I mean, that is unfortunately a problem. But you can see here that a gunfight early is being engaged as Den is fighting this blaze of Goyo, and it seems to be equal damage done to both players as a Finka managed to actually heal, but Goyo needs to be alone here as the drones are going to come out. The Dokubi calls, and that is a shutdown. There's crossfire, so much intel, there's nothing he could have done there, and he wasted a fair bit of time as well, so you gotta keep that in mind. A minute just about gone, but look at this double drone information onto Suki here. His position's revealed, and if I was him, I would smartly go back inside.
It looks like he is gonna go back to site. He's been droned out. Barney's Trusted Dinosaur so far in this round have done such good work on the intel gathering game. And, you know, you could account that down to the fact that they have a Dokkaebi, but it's mainly just due to how good their droning has been. Able to isolate both of these roamers, not one of them getting a chance to support the other. And they've just been like 5v1 separately. That was crazy from Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs. Now to get the early man advantage, a 5v3. And it's all up to the 3 players on R to do something about it. Now, there is one smoke grenade on the side of Seal. And they also do still have these Vulcan canisters that can be popped just in case Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs decide to execute anytime soon. And once those canisters are popped, then those fires will last for like what feels like to be a millennium. Seal gonna get aggressive on to construction, gets a down, but the Finkaboos is gonna be able to pick Denstar back up. Now those Goyo canisters are gonna be popped, and the fire is gonna stay up for about 20 seconds or so. Grenades also going out, so another Goyo canister is gonna be popped. The execute at some point is gonna happen from Barney's Trusted Dinosaur. Venoms is dead because of him pushing right into that line of sight of Pakamu. Now a grenade is gonna be put. Pakamu does have to swing, but he can't make. Now a 3v1 situation. Rose on full health, and 2 players on Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs a bit lower than usual, so this could be possible for him, Jaeger.
It could be, but the situation is looking more and more difficult, but he does manage to get that first pick, and usually that is the most hard one. But he's in a role reversal one. He's going to be trying to attack the site, and he does take so much damage. He's on such little HP, and there's nothing else he could be doing because Deza, he's there to clean up the last final kill. And honestly, it was such a well-played round from Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs there. You know, they had the double man advantage. They dropped the Ying hatch. They brought the Dokkaebi exactly for the situation that no one should be ratting in a corner. So you can call the Dokkaebi, you know everyone's general position, you can call it out. That's exactly what you saw happen to the Mute. You know, they knew the Mute was swinging in the corner, but they didn't swing him. They just throw a soft nade, forcing him to escape from that position, and with the Goyo canister pop, he was just walking into Armageddon, and he died almost instantly. And when you have such a large man advantage as they did, they can afford to be a bit more lax and a bit more aggressive as well. But as soon as they lost 1 or 2 players, they decided to take it a bit more slow and, you know, try to get that round win, and that's exactly what they did. So, you know, a good, really, really well-played attack coming up from BTD there, and I'm really impressed with how they played that.
Yep. Now, for our esports secondary site gonna be Kids. They didn't succeed on basement. Usually teams, like we saw from Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs a number of times, when they fell the site, they went right back to it. It was mainly just Kids where they lost Kids and then they went right back to it. On the first time they tried basement, they went, I believe, to kitchen. Nope, I think it was Kids actually. They went like right back to Kids, and then I believe they lost that site. So, you know, interesting little change up from here for our esports, or I can't remember the word for it, but like anyways, our esports now going on to Kids. Not liking the way that they played basement whatsoever, and I mean, it was a good round for Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs. Take nothing away from it, the intel gathering and being able to deny the support that our esports had for one another on that roam. And it'll be interesting to see how R play this with Lace. Very aggressive in small tower. Might catch player off guard, and he does. This count is down and out for the count. Gonna be a run out for Lace, but he should be shut down here. No, he isn't. It's second for the Wamai. I don't really think that should have happened, and Venoms is able to get the trade, but at what cost? You lose your Ariana, you lose your Finka. That's a lot of utility, plus the adrenal surges and a human drone from that Ayana, but keep in mind both of them grenades and Gone 6 lost, so that's a lot of util clear potential off of the board for this attack.
I was unfortunate to say the least. Lays should not have gotten the second one there. The first one is fair enough, he was caught in an off-guard position, but the second one especially, I mean, that should not be ever happening like you said. But luckily for BTD, they still have 4 nades at least, so if there's anything to be a bit happy about, bringing 8 nades usually means that even if you lose 1 or 2 players, it's not that big of a deal, and they still have the hard breachers, so they can open up these walls. So it's not completely unwinnable for them so far. They still have everything in place if they do want to go for that execute, but this diffuser is actually dropped all the way down by kids, so they're gonna have to pick that up eventually as well. But no, they do seem to have some moves there. It's gonna be this knock that you can see on the board that's gonna be, hopefully gonna get those kills, get not the kills. You can see the drones are coming in, trying to get these live pings so the nade can come out and get that thing that they need, but it doesn't seem to be anything that that Diego is playing it so well, but running around making sure that he will not get naded. And you can see as well these Wamai distance, even though Wamai is gone, his proximate alarm and his blitz there providing a bit more of a nuisance for the side of BTD as the nades are coming up from below the floor, trying to guess the positions of these defenders, and nothing is sticking right now. There seems to be with Aura in the driver's seat.
Yep. 3v4 smoke grenades go out, so it's just gonna waste so much time from this attack. Then on that Nook playing that lurker role, but not being lucky enough to find himself a kill, find Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs a second opener inside of this matchup. 30 seconds left for the attackers. He's in a position where he could have flanked behind our Esports, but there's a player in Attic watching him. And look, he's gonna die because he doesn't react to him. Now a 2v1 situation as Shot does get himself a double. Can he find himself a quad kill on the round? These line of sights and the angles being held from Aura, well, they say no. And it is another round for our Esports. They tied up 4-4. And Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs, well, that's a lot different than what we saw from the previous round, Jaeger, especially with Lays able to capitalize and get 2 kills. And it was the Ayana and the Finka to fall first.
Yeah, it was really, really impressive for him to get 2 kills there. You get 1, you expect to die, you've done your job as a lurker slash roamer. I mean, questions about why is the lurker slash roamer is there, but he got 2 and he made up for it. So we're not here to be the ones who are going to complain. He got his 1, he got his 2, he got all the nades, and you can see what BTD's plan made. They were trying to get a lot of live drone things on site, and then just toss all 8 nades and decide to hope that something sticks and they get the man advantage. But losing a few players there, even though they still had 4 nades, it just wasn't enough because the players on Aura were just moving around. There's snakes not really staying in a single position. So the nades that always got thrown up into the ceiling never really caught anything of value there. And now, the Aura, they got their round upstairs. They're gonna go back and attempt to defend base.
Bomb located by attack. 10 seconds.
Liking the way that they held on to that case storm, so they're gonna try and do the same thing for basement. Now, the last time they played this site, the reason they lost that round, but the reason why they lost that round was due to some great intel gathering and teamwork from Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs. I said it before, but it was basically just isolating 1v5s against, the 2 defenders that existed on this middle floor, and those defenders not really being able to help support one another. And it was just an easy execute in the end from Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs. Now still opting to go in for this Ying. The Ying wasn't really that effective on their execute because they just dropped E-box hatch and just died first. Suki, they were able to get the first pick, and that's not onto the Ying, that's onto the Finka of Deza. So not having the best of luck on these Finkas. That's 2 times in a row where the Finka was taken out very early on. So these adrenal surges, or well, the impact of these adrenal surges are going to be felt from this attack, especially now since she's gone. She won't be able to pick up those players that are in unretrievable positions, but also if those players are lit up, she won't be able to permanently heal them back up to a good amount of HP. Also, you lose frag grenades and a Gon 6, and with these positions that are being played from RA Sports, especially behind these shields and whatnot, those grenades and that Gon 6 are going to be felt, or the loss of them are going to be felt by Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs.
I mean, it won't be the game plan is pretty much set. You got your early pick as Aura. Now you can just afford to stay back on site and play all of these strong cross angles that we were talking about earlier. It's very difficult for any attacking team, not just BTD. If any team are against a somewhat competent team who are holding the correct angles, it becomes extremely difficult. Also considering the Warden is still in play, the team is not going to be able to even do much either. It's going to be very difficult for BTD to be able to get any ground on this side. It's going to be, like I said, very difficult. It's going to be a very tedious task. I keep repeating myself here, but that's exactly what has to be saying. But the first kill from Discount there actually would be important because that is a C4 gone, and then picks up another one, and suddenly all these angles that were being watched earlier are being vacated because two people are down already, bringing it back to 3 feet, but then it's started off by Rezai, but Venom picks up another one as well in the 2v2 situation. 50 seconds left, Warden is gone, Ying, all Candelas are remaining, but the question is, do BTD know about the position of Suki? Do they know where these last two players are playing? Because if they don't, well, it doesn't really affect it too much, as Venoms does die, leaving it all onto the hands of Shock. He's been playing so well this game, 10 and 5 already, but can he bring it home when his team needed it the most?
Two situation for the Nomad. What looks so good for our Esports. I mean, it's still looking good. It's a 1v2 situation. Go-Yo canisters are popped, so it is gonna zone off this Nomad for now. Flash grenades gonna be able to burn out the ADSs and also flash those players existing in behind that shield. But it is Suki making his rotate into Freezer, playing this wall, the holes in the wall, and just cutting off Shock. And now Barney's just the dinosaurs and Aura take that lead from Barney's Twisted Dinosaurs, 5-4 at the moment. But that looked a little bit scary for Aura, didn't it, Jaeger? Because those angles that they were once holding, especially behind the shield, those power positions that they were once playing, they had to leave them because they were getting intensely pressured from Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs.
Yeah, the nade kill to start it all off into Dens with that immediate follow-up, bringing it back the man advantage into the favor, but ultimately at the end of the day, not enough drone power, not enough information on the last two players to be able to execute on the left side. That is ultimately Boston, because if they maybe had one or two more drones there, maybe they could have got the information that they needed to close out that round, but they did not. And alas, Aura, they don't make it easy for themselves ever. Even when they're in such a good position, they always find a way to not throw, but also throw, make it very entertaining as a viewer, because you always second guess what's going to happen next. But they do bring the round home and get that lead, like you said, and they're going to have to go to the tertiary site, which is kitchen dining, and something on the side of BTD that I'm seeing is a Monty bumpy. Now, talk me through this. What is a Monty going to do on this side?
What is he gonna do on this side? Well, main name of the game of a Monty is just to get intel, but also to be a figurehead for this attacking team. All eyes are on the Monty when he's in the map, and you don't want to ever take your eyes off of him, but that also enables his teammate to be able to act and move around him and peek around him and be able to aggress onto these defenders that are so distracted by Monty. And if you guys don't know what a figurehead is, it's, well, somebody who's in a position where all attention is on them, but they're not the real issue. The real issue, is going to be the people under, around, and in front of them, basically. So for Shot, he's going to be the figurehead, and his teammates are going to be the problem for our Esports. Now, what he could do is obviously put pressure onto Showers and onto this Showers hallway, just to deny rotations, just to deny swings from our Esports, from easily swinging on players like Deza, who's in such a good position, but please, nobody from our Esports are aware that Deza is this high up, and he gets an easy pick onto the Echo as well. Those Echo drones are not going to be useful in denying the plant, and since BTD have an OSA, denying the plant from long angles it's just going to be so hard without the Echo, and Deza finds another. Suki's down, and our Esports, this defense just looks like it's crumbled, and this is why you never go to kitchen dining. Easy it is to get control of power.
Kills are just coming out left and right, and it's all on to Seal. He's the last left alive in a 3-1 situation. 27 seconds left on the clock. It's so difficult for him to even get one of these kills. The attacker postman positions are just too strong, as Zaza finishes it up. And 1v1 and attack. We just saw the power of Osa and Monty on full showcase. Monty getting all the information you need, and then Osa making it so that you don't need to even get that much side control. You can just walk into the side doorway, put down your shield, knife it, plant on the back while 2 or 3 teammates cover you, because you have all of the angles. Especially once you lost that Echo as their early pick, it was so easy for them to just waltz into, not even waltz into side, waltz into the doorway of the site, and then get the plant out. And they didn't have to move, I think, 2 feet away from Soul Tower that entire round.
Yeah, like you said, the Echo dying, usually this is why you bring Echo on kitchen dining, because if they bring an OSA, it's easy, it's still pretty hard, but it's easier to deny the plant behind the Osa shield, just because those echoes, you know, they can stick to ceilings and they can look past the Osa shields, whereas if you're directly trying to challenge the Osa shields are in the way, and then the attack can just line up their shots against you and get an easy pick or two, depending on where you are positioned. But again, Monty getting a lot of intel, but also putting pressure onto that shower corridor, and that is why I don't really like kitchen dining at all, because small tower is so easy to get control of as an attacker. You take control of small tower, you get that wall open, and then you also have, you know, the free control of office, which can give you the vertical right behind the couches in the dining site. And it just are, once they lost their echo, their possibility of winning that round or even denying the plant from Barney's trusted sword just dissipated. That it just wasn't possible at that point. And that's why you saw them lose the round so easily.
And that first kill as well won't be coming out. Lays, he's been in these opening engagements so many times, but unfortunately for his stats, as you can see, he's not been winning very many of them. He had, apart from that one round where he got 2 insane kills, he's only picked up 1 lone kill in the rest of this game. His early engagement's not really going in his favor. So the first pick does go in the hands of BTD, as does the second pick, as you lose a smoke, a player that you usually expect to see alive all the way till the end of the round. It's falling apart, you would almost say, for Horror, as they lose so many players. They need to get aggressive here. They need to get this next pick, and that's exactly what Suki's trying to do. Maybe still playing below, hoping that he can maybe catch 1 or 2 players off guard and get this free pick. The nades are going to come all the way from below, as Suki whiffs a few shots. The nade from below just gets a kill, and I think this is a match point to the side of BTD, because the Warden, even though he gets 1, that's all he can manage to get. Will be that's the word I would say to describe the Aura defense that round. Unfortunate.
Yeah, again, this is a common theme that I'm seeing from Aura, especially with the Wamai being able to play. They put him in very aggressive positions, and while Wamai does have the 1.5 sight, he also has really important utility, to the point where it's just like, why are you being so aggressive with him?
Just play the alibi if you want to do that.
Yeah, just play the alibi if you want to do that. She has a 1.5 sight. She arguably has a better gun. It's a laser beam. She also has a shield. So, you know, why not? I don't know. But anyways, they also lose the smoke very early. I'm not really too sure how. And so that denies. Okay, so he was also being very aggressive. Again, putting really important operators whose utility are very cool in halting the attack, especially with Wamai having rechargeable Wamai disc, Smoke having smoke grenades. It just doesn't make sense to me. Just not really too many smart plays coming in from Aura that round. They get punished for it because, you know, Barney's trusted dinosaurs, you know, just as good as they are players, they have really good mechanical skills as well, especially discount and shock, and Deza, who in a few rounds have just been absolutely amazing, especially Deza able to get the first pick on a numerous amount of occasions. And again, I'm thinking back to the kitchen dining site where he was just able to get, you know, 2 easy picks going for his team, able to take out the Echo first in that round. And in this round, it just happened to be the Wamai, or not, sorry, that wasn't the Wamai, but he did take out the first one. So anyways, basement, Jaeger.
It is basement, and if you look on the red players, there's so many stacked up on the small tower side. Not small tower, sorry, these big tower stairs. And they're just trying to get aggressive. They just want to kill, and that's what they're doing. But they're just smartly there were 3 players at the start, and now there's none. They've all just gone back. And you know, if I was Aura, I would not try to do anything fancy. I'm just playing on site. I don't want to be the guy who gets that first pick away, and that leads to us losing the team because you're 6-5 down. Basement Oregon, even if you play 5 people on site, it's still a pretty good chance that you'd end up winning the round. You know, you don't need to try to do anything fancy. You don't need to try to give away these picks, and that's exactly what Suki has unfortunately done for his team, and that is that opening that BTD need, because we've already seen how good they are at getting that pick when they're trying to execute onto the site. You know, they have that Ying, they have that Loki, a bit of throwback to the 2018 Lion meta, but apart from that, they also have the finger boost, they also have all these nades, all this utility. It's so difficult now for the side of Aura if they want to do this. I mean, in their credit, they do have all 3 smokes, they do have the C4, and obviously they have the they have the Warden, so they could technically shut down this gameplay, but with a minute 20 seconds left, you can see BTD are just taking their time, joining, getting all the information that they need before they execute, so that nothing like this can happen. And Lays is getting aggressive, and that's not what you want to do. Unfortunately, he does lose his life, but Packham is there to trade him out and get back to 43, which still I would argue is a better trade for the attacker. The minute still left, but a minute is not enough time, and that nade is not enough for Packham to survive, because he gets deleted off this map, and now it is a 4v2. The smoke needs to play really aggressive. The warden needs to play really aggressive. They need these opening picks. Dens, he's always there. He's gonna give a drop anymore here, and he doesn't even manage to get the kill.
Wow!
He's thrown it. Dens, he gets that kill. The fun's coming down. There's so much to do for Reza. He gets that first pick. It's so difficult for him. 1B, 35 seconds left. Is gone down. They have all of the Candelas. Des drops that GG cockily, but it's not over yet. He can still potentially do this crazy thing that happened in Siege. He goes to that peak, but discount, he's just a bit better today. He's not a priceless player. He is discount full, somebody would say. But he gets that kill. I'm not sure what analogy I was trying to make there, but BTD pick up that win and put themselves in a really good spot coming into the promotions of the latter end of this season.
Yeah, I'm a little bit shocked. I'm not gonna lie to you, cause like I'm not really that shocked. We have Rose on 19 kills. We have a lot of players from our esports stepping up, but again, the main downfall was just them maybe getting a little bit too aggressive on their defenses and just surrendering easy picks, because there wasn't really anything wrong with their util usage. I felt like they did fine with their util. I felt like they did fine in playing around their utility, but again, giving up early picks on their defenses, and with very important operators as well, this doesn't bode well for you. And it is unfortunate for them, but it is Barney's trusted dinosaurs to be able to take it over the finish line and get the full 3 points. Now they're on a 3-game win streak in our esports. I think that's like 2 games in a row, 3 games in a row, where they're now on they are on a 3-game loss streak. So a bit unfortunate for them as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of tooted the horn of BTD so much today, but just watching them attack, it's so. I mean, if you don't understand what's happening, maybe it's not as it's not as fun, or it's not as engaging to watch. But you can just see the plan in motion, and they're just toying with Aura. Almost felt like, where they know exactly what's going to happen. They know they're going to try to get aggressive. They know so much that was happening. It was insane, honestly, to watch exactly, especially that last round. Is something I'm going to definitely watch back. But that is all. As you know, Vambi, Vital League games are only a best of 1, and that is all we have in store. But we do have more coming up. The Major League game, Vambi, what is that? Of course, Machine Soldiers versus
Pretorian.
Pretorian. There you go. It is a banger of a game, and unfortunately, I'm not going to be casting that. But Vambi, my lovely cast partner, you're still going to be here, and you're probably going to do a much better job than what I've managed to waffle up in the last game. But I think that is all from us for now. We will be back soon enough, I feel. Is there anything you want to add, Wambi, before the end of this segment of the stream?
No, I feel like everything I said has been, what everybody else was probably thinking. And I'm excited for Pretorian versus Machine Soldiers. That should be a lightning match, or as the British people say, that should be a banger of a match. I know I've offended a lot of British people with that, but
We got a bit of a production talk. But like I said, that is all from us from right now. We'll be back soon with the next league game. If we do know the time for that, I'm not sure exactly when it starts, but we'll keep you updated here on this channel and on Twitter / our Discord. So just keep following, keep subbing, keep doing all of that good stuff here. I've been Jaeger. This has been 1B. Stay hydrated. Goodbye for now.
Hello, ladies, gents. Hello, ladies, gents, and non-binaries, and welcome to Talent League. If you just missed a minor league game, well, I can. It was a 7-5 win from Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs. After tying up the half, going 3-3, they won the whole game 7-5. But enough about the minor league games. Everybody's here for the major leagues. It's the big leagues. Pretorian versus Machine Soldiers Academy, first versus sixth. And well, when it comes to the qualifications for our championship series, this game, or well, Machine Soldiers have a lot to play for, but Pretorian have nothing to lose. I'm still 1B, but I do have a new co-star with me. This is Conch, and what Conch, how are you?
Not too bad. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Brilliant,
But
brilliant.
so, we already have our map bans. We're gonna go straight into that, and it is gonna be Clubhouse and Oregon. The first maps to go were indeed Villa and Bank. We're not gonna see Skyscraper, Theme Park, or Border. And well, Conch, what do you make of this map pool between Pretorian and Machine Soldiers?
So, I mean, it's a fairly standard map pool, right? I mean, it's the end all be all. It's the go to. I think that because we're playing on those maps, that we're gonna see a lot of essential stuff that sort of gets done every single game. I'm hoping that we see maybe a bit more facades, a bit of a switch up, bit of a change up, but I'm not counting on it because well, these tend to be like the bare bones sort of maps. So
Mm-hmm. We've seen Oregon, we've seen Club a number of times. We know how these map operates, but so does the community. We don't have a community vote, nor do we have a staff vote up for you guys. So sorry about that. I apologize. My fault. But hopefully, because with the positions of both of these teams, at least we can get the predictions running up for you guys, so you can put your channel points on the line for who do you think will take both of these maps, or who do you think will take the 3 points home today. I put my money on Pretorian because Pretorian, I really like the way that they play this season. I think they have a lot of swagger to their game, and for Machines, so well, I think it's fair to say that they have been struggling for a majority of this season. Uh, well, okay. So we don't have anybody in the lobby as of yet. So we're gonna be waffling on for just a little bit. We're gonna take a break as of yet. But Conch, according to the standings, or if you have watched games for Talent League, well, who are you gonna put your money on for today, Praetorian or Machine Soldiers?
oh well, I haven't really seen any of these teams in the work, so to be honest, I don't think my opinion is very valid at this stage. I mean, Machine Soldiers sound like a cool name, so uh, and I like the name, so I'm just gonna vote for Machine Soldiers at this point. Um, like I said, I think ultimately it's just gonna come down to who has the better mechanics at this point. I mean, the maps are very bare bone, very basic, so definitely 110%. I think this is going to decide a lot on these teams, regardless of certain teams being moving up places and stuff like that. I think this will ultimately sort of gather a lot of information on these teams. Definitely going in now to like the later stages.
And I will actually bring up the standings for you guys so that you can have a little bit more context when it comes to the our qualifications for our standings for the Champions Series that will be coming up in about a week or two. Because this week and the next week after this week 8, both of these 2 weeks are the last weeks of the play days for both the major and minor leagues. So these teams have to start getting their wins. They have to start getting their points. Especially those who are still contending for those top 4 places. Now, Pretorian, they are in first place with 16 points. Machines, so just like I've mentioned, are in sixth place, but they are on 9 points. Now, obviously, if they can get the full today, they will put themselves on to 12, and they could easily Vivid United's place in third place and put themselves there instead. Obviously, the bottom 3 teams are indeed QVG, Ultrac, and Vega Esports. And yes, I did indeed say QVG. Last season, they were in first place in the major league standings. Nobody could really touch them for a majority of the season. up until the Champion Series came up, which they got knocked out pretty early on. It was a shock exit for them. And well, this season they're not looking too hot neither. And if you bring your attentions to the mid-table, you also have Burnham, who was formerly known as the Blue Jays Youngsters, the Esports Youngsters, then LFO, and now they've found their org in Laburnum Gaming. So, you know, it's a bit of a mix-up this season. It's really competitive for those play from second place all the way down into, I'd say, 8th place as well. QBG still in 9 points, so they could obviously propel themselves up into the tables if they're able to grab a win this week as well.
I mean, definitely sounds like it's all to play for so far. You know, I'm very eager now to sort of see how this result of this game really sort of shifts things up for going into later of the season. You know, as you've said multiple times, you know, this game ultimately decides where certain people sort of go up, certain people go down. So, like I said, I'm sure that this match is going to have a lot to it. So, you know, I'm not expecting none of this small little sort of stepping stone stuff. I'm expecting this big. You know, I want to see some crazy stuff, maybe some stuff that we haven't seen from these teams. You know, as you said, it's all to play for at this point. So I definitely cannot wait to see where this sort of goes going forward.
Yeah, indeed. Still, we don't have the players in the lobby, so, or we do have one player, but we are still waiting on for the rest of them to join up. I'm not too sure if we're just gonna keep, if we're gonna go into a break because you guys don't want to hear us off on for so long. Yep, we are gonna head into a break for waiting for these players to join a lobby. Head into which is Oregon, so stay tuned. It will be quick. I'm not gonna promise anything, but it will be soon. So stay tuned. Get some Doritos, get some popcorn, your snacks, and we'll be right back with you guys in a couple. Welcome back. Sorry for the wait. We're gonna head straight into the game as we every single player, and like we said, it is gonna be Oregon first and Conch. Whoa, what are you expecting from the bands here?
I mean, I'm gonna have to go with the good old Thatcher Kaid, and then I wouldn't be surprised if maybe a bit of Valkyrie might be thrown in there, and potentially we might see a bit of Maverick as well. They're just like the most common ones usually, and there we go. There's one boy. Speak of the
Boy.
devil himself. I mean, Thatcher's just such a strong pick, right? I mean, him on the board literally shuts down an entire game. But I think the people have got into this habit of just banning Thatcher at this point, and wow, okay, a Flores ban. But I can understand why. Flores is definitely a very complicated character to get over. But on Oregon, I don't think he's that much of a hurdle because you can go underneath anyway. So really, the Flores doesn't really add much.
Yeah,
Second
nah.
point.
Flores is really good at clearing out like every single like a lot of utility at once, especially shields. So he's very good at removing power positions away from the defenders, and so that empowers now with him powers a lot of these power positions to be played a little bit more comfortably. I'm thinking again, like for example, basement elbow, the elbow position. Obviously, there can be some positions played inside of freezer itself on a basement site for kids' dorms. Attic is a really good position for defenders to be in order to deny attic control from the attackers. And so Forrest just makes taking control of certain areas, getting that space for his team a little bit easier because again, those Rotary Jones can't just have an area of effect. They have a really good explosive radius. They can take out shields. They can take out ADSs, mute jammers, remind disc, all at once, depending on
Attackers need to locate
how
and
they're
defuse
positioned.
bombs.
Even if they are a little bit farther away from each other, the Rotary Jones can still reach the both of them. Primary site gonna be for machine soldiers is gonna be Kid Storm, and interesting pick is going to be the Bandit in place of the Kaid that's been banned by Pretorian.
Yeah, most definitely, and I mean, it's a pretty common site to start on. This or basement is usually the go-to, and kid's bedroom, I always say is arguably the strongest one. At just being able to hold it, it's nice, tight, really locked and loaded. You can't really go wrong with this site unless you do something absolutely amazing and then try and like switch it up by leaving like the attic walls open and stuff like that. I've seen that from time to time, but I mean, it looks all pretty basic, nothing too extraordinary. We do see Thunderbird currently playing in small tower though, maybe potentially looking for an early frag, which could come in very nice for it.
Usually the attack, they try and look for a split pick towards master bedroom and attic, but Pretorian might be looking to change it up and look to take control of west side, which is also another common area for the attackers to push in. Obviously, if they don't drone out good enough, and I don't think this is like Pretorian to not do this. If they don't drone out this area of small tower, and if they don't catch the Kunto out, he could get himself an early pick, and it could be forever that falls into that line of sight. But they're just gonna bypass small tower completely. The Ayana is gonna grab intel on Adrian, who's hiding out in armory. Bombi just below him as well, as Adrian just deletes that hatch and armory into garage. Flashes do go out. The Melusi, I don't think is affected by it. Pulse takes a little bit of damage as well, as the Melusi is just being pressed from every single angle, from hatch, from the main stairs as well. And at some point, a kill has to happen, and it is going to be Coles. Coles gets the first pick onto this game. That is Pretorian gets the second, and that's also Lemons down. So an early 5v3 for Pretorian as they look to take this round by storm.
Now another kill from Bombi, and it's now a 5 versus 2. It's all coming down to this now, but with the attacks having a huge lead, only 2 players left on this defense. It's going to be an uphill battle. That'll be Vemzy trying to cross on over. Vernzy, sorry, I completely mispronounced that name. Getting crossed over. Nade! Beautiful nade from Forever. And it's now a 1 versus 5. It's all up to this smoke. SMG-12 in hand. Throws that canister, and is now waiting eagerly. Sees on top of White, but it's not fortunate enough for him, as he's just peeking at the wrong time. As Bombi to seal the deal. And that's smoke falling, and that's first round going to none other than the attack. Pretorian storming ahead with a flawless round.
Opening 2K from Coles onto both Adrian, I believe that was also Lemons too. Adrian very easily isolated in armory. That's why I don't usually like it when defenders play in armory by themselves, especially because it's not only very easy,
Attackers need to locate
so
and
many
defuse
angles that
bombs.
can play against you from the window, from the top of main stairs if an attacker decides to push up there, and especially because he had no support from Trophy neither, that top of main stairs was easily in control of Pretorian. And also from the hatch as well, he was getting flashed. There was nobody on, so that goes a positive for him, but he was just getting pressure from every angle imaginable to man. No trade as well immediately for Machine Soldiers. Nobody on Machine kill, so that was obviously a flawless round for Pretorian at the end of the day. And Machine Soldiers, they're gonna decide to go back onto this kid's armory area, and the change up here, well, not any changes at all. Not changing up their lineup, but hopefully changing up the way that they held on to this top floor. Especially, I hope Adrian isn't going to go back into armory again, and it looks like he is.
Yeah, most definitely. I will point out one thing, just for the viewers. You know, there was a little bit of a lost change up. We've now seen the mute come out over the alibi, so it's gonna be interesting to see how they sort of adapt that into the strategy now. Not having that alibi, you know, sort of might switch up a few things. You know, you don't have the gun potential with the fast fire rate, but you do have those mute jammers that can deny, which is always perfect coming on through. We see a bit of a cook of a nade coming on through from Sledge, trying to potentially find Adrian. Just burns the ADS though. That's a waste of a nade. And he's gone for it again. He does clear off the wall, which is perfect, but he could have saved himself a nade by just simply going under and throwing the nade up. You know, he could have had a lot more value, potentially kept a nade in the pocket later on for those annoying gadgets. We do see a bit of a little sneaky sort of roam going down from Thunderbird, playing on these laundry stairs, potentially looking for a creeper, potentially trying to get an early frag as this player Bombi tries to come on through. Bombi now stuck though inside of Classroom. That could potentially be bad for him later on, but this is the other problem, is that Thunderbird's locked and loaded now. He is currently stuck. We do see it though. Iana trying to go for a cheeky little peek onto the players inside of Attic. If she's not careful, she might lose her life. But as time ticks on now, minute 40 left on this clock, and it's looking like the defense are holding strong, a lot better than they did previous rounds. You know, moving that player out of Attic means that a lot of the pressure is sort of moved over. But the real question is what happens in the later of this round?
Yep, the Kunto, like you mentioned, is in a position where if he rotates up this main stair, he could be easily caught off. Now, Pretorian aren't really paying attention to the basement roam of Machine Soldiers, but oh man, you know how easy big control can be given up to the attackers just because of its easy access. And the first player to follow is going to be Dano. Quick trade though onto Lemons, and the Kunto still in a good position to flank behind this Pretorian back line. Heavy able to get another, so now we're at a 2v2. So the end round is going to be really dependent on whether or not the Kunto, well, he's not going to go for a direct flank. He's just going to go for a Nitro Soul. That is a pre-placed Nitro Soul just below the diffuser. Another kill for Coles, as it's a lot of trades going through, but 1v2 situation for the Ayana. 4 kills as of right now, no deaths, but that could all change at the flick of a wrist, maybe from Kunto moves into games. The Ayana's not paying attention though. Crucial shots from Thunderbird. And now Machine Soldiers. It's a 2v1 situation like I've said, but they need to really work together in order to pinch the Ayana. Gonna get that plant down. Heavy rotating up through top of white stairs. Plant gonna go down as well, so this could go down to the wire as Coles. He's just gonna have to depend on his game sense and predicting where these players go, but he's easily down. Kunto's just gonna troll him, teabag him, kill him as well, as Heavy gets the diffuser down. Oh, okay, so well it is gonna be Kunto's kill, but Heavy did confirm it, and it is a good hold for Machine Soldiers at the end of the day, despite Pretorian getting into the site fairly easily.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the retake there was really, really well. I did sort of worry a little bit when, you know, the defenders tried to retake that site. One of them went in solo. You know, that would have been a perfect opportunity for Coles to have sort of got that kill and potentially spiraled it then into more of a victory for himself. But I mean, as soon as they started playing together, I mean, it was just no escape. If he had pushed through and tried to swing kids, no, he would have died ultimately to the player top white. Maybe he'd just come back, rack him. That's exactly what he did. I mean, he ultimately saw what happened, right? He immediately gets taken out. So, you know, he was kind of stuck there. Maybe he could have played a little more passive, maybe try to go deep into kids, or maybe try and fall back into ag. But then you've always got that risk then of, are they going to try and long arm it? Are they going to try and diffuse it out of my line of sight? And then you've got to swing at that point.
Yeah. Again, he was just mainly depending on game sense and sound and predictability on where the Machine Soldiers players would rotate. He did guess correctly though, because the swing came into Attic doorway and he was positioned right next to Pit. he just couldn't really hit his shots. And also Coles was very low in HP too, so that played a hand in it. But basement is going to be the secondary site for Machine Soldiers. They lost kids once, won it once, and so now they can't go back there again. And the secondary site of choice is going to be, again, the basement site. And in, well, place of a lot of things, they do have the Mute, they do have the Jaeger. So what the Mute offers as of now, especially with the changes that came in just like a while ago, where he can only get like a certain height of the wall, so he's not really good at denying hard breach that much anymore. But what he's really good at is attackers, especially in a way of drones. Once those drones get in reach of those signal jammers, well, they just die out, and it's easily a drone that's destroyed for the defense. But 2 kills go out for Pretorian very early on. It's Bombi to get a double as Machine Soldiers, they falter on this first floor hold.
You have no words of what just happened. 3 players immediately fall for Machine Soldiers with no effort whatsoever. And Nitro gets thrown, and there was literally no reason to be throwing that, but that's a nice kill at least from Kunto to at least bring it all back. Does Bombi falling? It's now a 2 versus 4. Minute 50 left on this clock. There's still plenty of time for the attackers to work with. With a 2-player lead, it's just going to be an uphill battle that's not going to be one that's going to be very easy to climb back for the defense. Getting ready, the one else calls for a lovely neighbor. Kunto is getting ready now to present to calls, and he unfortunately doesn't manage to do so. That's another flawless round for Pretorian. And I mean, they are absolutely ruthless right now. How on earth do you let 3 people die that early on into the round? I have no words.
You know, this is the thing about Pretorian that I really like. They're very, like you said, you use the word ruthless, but they have such good executions, and they are very coordinated with one another. You never see a Pretorian player just go off by themselves. They're usually attacking as a team, and you know that, and what that comes like, especially if one of them falls, another player is right there for the trade. And that's why they're in first place. You know, they have that experience over Machine Soldiers. They have played in like higher competitions before. The Spanish League, for example, they played against those type of teams. They played in higher leagues, in higher leagues than like T4, for example. So Talent League, at the moment, I mean, they did lose against Maestria. Both of these teams lost against Maestria, funnily enough. That's ironic, isn't it? And they, again, like I said, there it goes, the experience plays in hand of that, but also their willingness to adapt. When something goes wrong, they're easily able to figure it, they're able to figure it out for the next round, and then, you know, take that and say, okay, well, this is what we can do better. They're that type of team. And Machine Soldiers, well, you know, they do have a good team, they do have a good couple of players, but they have a long way to go before they can reach what Pretorian have been able to reach this season, especially for a new team in Talent League.
Most definitely. We see this Vigil now, they're on an aggressive roam. Now, Hebby has tried this multiple times, and you know, it's never really paid off, and especially after the last round of losing so many players so early on. I don't know if this is exactly the right play, but you know what? He's going to give it a try, and I'm expecting to see some greatness from him right here. The real question is he going to provide that greatness? We see calls now, though, trying to fight down those main stairs. Adrian potentially trying to peek back on through as well. But it's, right now, drones are coming in, but does Heavy know? And will Heavy activate his ability in time, or will he get spotted? He activates it just in the nick of time, and it just about doesn't sight him, which could be absolutely perfect for him. Fingers slowly starts entering. They know where Heavy is, and Heavy's getting to a gunfight now, and he's going to get cornered if he's not careful. Goes and swings around, but forever is there, and that's Heavy falling on down. That's not brilliant for Machine Soldiers, losing a player already. He has wasted a minute and 10 seconds, though, but that's not even half the round. 4 versus 5 now, though, on the clock. And it's up to Machine Soldiers now to try and pull this on back. Do they play extra defensive, or do they play extra aggressive to essentially bring this back to themselves? Minute 30, though, the time is still in the attacker's favor. Being up one right now, opening up these hatches, applying that pressure is what the goal is set, and it's one that they're going to execute fairly well. The real question is where is this attack sort of centralized? It's looking like the backside is more of the weakest part right now, with just Lemon's 2 Cesti is sort of covering it, but Kunto's also there. Lemon now rotating over to Harry Potter. And it looks like Adrian might potentially pull down this main stairs, but you know, he's got to sort of sit there patiently in that laundry and wait for calls to potentially swing out and not be prepared. We do see 2 players up thrown in there. Adrian will take out Forever, now be Frenzy taking out Coles. Screw potentially huge. It's a 3 versus 4. The defense have swung this back on around. 50 seconds on the clock. There's not a lot of time left remaining. And it's now Rafa peeking out. Ooh, he doesn't manage to get that kill onto Adrian. Adrian is absolutely fragging out right now, gets himself another kill, and it's still a 4 versus 2. 40 seconds left on the clock, Diffuser is down. Couple of shots out from Adrian, but Adrian takes heavy fire as well from Bombi. They now know where Adrian's position is though, and Adrian gets pre-fire, and that'll be Adrian going down, falling and getting finished by Dano. And that'll be Bombi falling though, and it's up to Dano now on 1 versus 3. Goes for the swing, but it's not looking promising for him, as Machine Soldiers managed to take that round back into fruition. After losing a player very, very early, they did absolutely amazing there to retake everything back and swing it back in their favor.
Confusing thing for Pretorian is that they got all the hatches open and they had players positioned in decent spots in order to put pressure somewhere else, but all of them decide to go into freezer and into laundry. Nobody decided maybe play down inside of Esports to break into the in behind Machine Soldiers as they prepare for the retake. Nobody clearing the line of sights as well for Machine Soldiers. As they just easily dispatched the Pretorian. Pretorian just, again, like I said, playing into their lines of sights, not being able to clear those corners where these Machine Soldiers were playing in, and they just gave them free picks, pick after pick after pick. And you could slim that down to a number of things, like maybe where the last few Machine Soldiers players were at, like of intel gathering on a site in general as they tried to prepare for an execute maybe they weren't for whatsoever. Because again, they had control of first floor, they had a couple picks going in their favor, they had map control in general, especially on hatches, and hatches are so crucial on Oregon because there's so many of them, and the way that they're positioned can really screw the defense over if they give early control of the hatches to the attackers. So again, not enough intel gathering on the site itself. The execution, I praise them for their that execution was poor for a number of different reasons, and now it's 2-2.
Most definitely so, and our round has begun.
Oh, no.
Oh my god,
What the
Heavy, no! Heavy's just playing like an absolute little rat in security, and he manages to get himself a kill onto Forever. That's finger off the board, that LMG crutch no longer in play. That's brilliant so far, but what are you doing, Lemons 2 Zesty? Goes for a jump out, and Dano's there to instantly shut him on down. They just threw away a lead. You know, it's not the end of the world though, because well, you currently have players still alive, right? Removing that off the wall as well, that mute jammer to get that walk-in wall open. But as I was saying, you know, you may have not lost anything. You may not have given the enemy a lead, but you definitely just lost the lead for yourself, which is never brilliant. They could have just been trading out lives, play extra defensive, but instead, Lemons decides, hey, I'm going out there. You know what? I envy that man for at least trying something, but unfortunately it didn't work out in his favor. Heavy playing a very, very aggressive angle right here. The real question is, will it pay off? He's looking for something, but they're all upstairs, Heavy. But one is coming on down, it's Bombi. Will they match, or are they prepared? One gets taken out, Bombi takes out one, a beautiful reflag from Heavy though. Heavy though getting very, very sort of antsy. He does go for a nitro that doesn't land on anyone. And the wall does get successfully opened. 1:15 left on this clock, and Heavy's all the way back in sight. Beautiful play by there, but Dano takes out Adrian. It's now a 2 versus 3 with a minute left on this clock. Dano playing this big window, cutting out all the rotations. Coles, though, looking to potentially take out anybody who decides to peek up white. It's still anybody's game, but it's definitely looking more and more like the attackers. Heavy taking heavy fire right here, sat in Hobo. His position's now been revealed. The real question is, where's Ver? Ver is now going for an aggressive peek. Both the SMG brothers in play. 45 seconds left on this clock. The attackers are going to start playing extra aggressive. Heavy goes for a swing, but Dano manages to take him out. And that'll be Rafa from the breach of Walk-In, taking out him, trying to rotate on through. Once again, man, Pretorian absolutely storming, playing it extremely well.
Yep. Thing about that at the beginning of that round that I was like really afraid of, obviously, was Heavy's position going undroned inside of security, able to get that first pick, and I don't really know what in the world Forever was doing, just pushing into that hallway, into that zigzag hallway without any intel on server, without any intel on the top of freezer as well. There was nobody on the freezer, but there could have been, and he just didn't have the intel on it. Well, they still get to win that round anyways. Good execution at the end, despite starting that round a man down earlier on. Obviously, of their own, especially with Lemons just jumping out of game's window. don't know what the hell that was, but he decided to do it anyways, and that's why he died so quickly. I don't really know. Again, anyways, Machine Soldiers deciding to go again onto this kid's floor. They started the round very brightly last time out, but this round, they started the round early. They started the round early, really bright early on, as I tried. Last time out, but then decided to just go for some really aggressive plays, some aggro plays that just didn't go in their favor. In very unfavorable positions, and Pretorian take that. Now 3-2, could potentially take the half 4-2 for Pretorian, or we could see the half tied up.
Most definitely, and I mean, you know, you really want to get it tied up. Cole's right now droning out the player in Armory. They're going for this Armory play again, which I don't know if it's too great. Instantly runs out. I think that's probably for the best. As soon as that drone sights you, don't want to stay and over-promise you're welcome. But Cole sticks at Adrian somehow. Looks like that player was potentially trying to push on through up the main stairs. But that's Adrian, no fall. It's now a 4 versus 5. Pretorian, once again, in such a strong position, getting this early player lead. I mean, this team is absolutely insane at getting these nice early frags. Or they lose their players really early on, which is never brilliant for them, but they always manage to pull it back from the clutches, and it's never looking doom and gloom for this team. They're always looking on top of it.
Yep. 5v4 for Pretorian as they get that early pick onto Adrian. That deletes a lot of flank potential for Machine Soldiers themselves. Drones go out to grab some intel onto the site itself, as they have positioned their players not in, but around the site. They have a player position on big window, so maybe cutting off those rotations that could happen depending on if they get this plant down inside of games itself. Those rotations could come from white stairs, and that position or that rotation could easily be denied from the player by a big window. So for Machine Soldiers, they have to be careful about that, just like they have to be careful about these swings coming in from Trophy. Lemons take goals, and minute 20 seconds left for the attackers to work with, but they already have 2 picks into this game. Coles gets himself another in secret, and that's the Kunto down. Forever finds another, and they're just rolling over this Machine Soldiers defense. The last player alive is going to be Heavy inside of a meeting. The plant's going to go down from Rafa as Heavy. He has it all to play for. He has 3 kills inside of this game. If he gets all 5 of them, he gets 8 in total, but 1v5 is a little bit too much to ask for. We've seen great players be able to clutch it out before, but I think Heavy, he's a decent player, but is he going to be able to clutch this out? Probably not, because the Pretorian are just everywhere and anywhere at this point, able to figure out where Heavy is hiding out inside of Kitchen. He's getting pressure from the vertical angles, plus horizontally, as well as Forever is able to move in on him on his position and shut him down quickly with this LMG.
Definitely, and I want to pay some perfect attention to Pretorian. Their drone work is absolutely, I mean, it's mind-boggling. It's so like well done. I mean, I literally saw that Jaeger, who was hiding, you know, next to Dresser. He was sat there. He was ready. He was eager to go. I think before the Yana swung him, I think I saw about 4 pings on that man, and then boom, we see the swing come on through from Coles. He immediately falls. That swings the team into fruition because nobody's watching that door at that point. They can start storming into the site, and at that point, you know, they know that someone's in attic. Boom, Coles walks in, bang, swings him, dead. Immediately out the gate, and then you've just absolutely just shut down. Everybody's running rampant in that site, to the point where I don't think Machine Soldiers know what to do. As soon as the floodgates are open, they are open. And at that point, you know, it's like running water, right? When water's rushing out of one exit point, it's really hard to close those doors. And that's exactly what's happening here. They can't seem to close those doors back on up. And at that point, the ship's already sinking, right? You've lost the round.
10 seconds to go.
Most definitely. Pretorian gonna pick the basement as the first site. Interesting pick, gonna be in the face of Goyo, though. Like I said, when we were casting, or I wasn't casting with you, I was casting with Jaeger, but when me and Jaeger were just casting the minor league game between Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs and our Esports, I feel like Goyo is a really good pick on Oregon, just in general, just because of where you can place the Vulcan canisters. There now being 4 of them, and the fire lasting for about 20 seconds, so a lot of good delay utility on the side of the defense. If you pick the Goyo, not sure what the hell Forever was doing, but he gets shut down. Adrian goes for an aggressive peek onto the Finka, and while the Aruni isn't that big of a pick, it's more or less just losing a man that's really damning for this defense. You know, those Aruni laser gates are still up, but you're now a man down on Pretorian, and Coles was in aggressive position, gonna back off now into Shaiko's spot.
Definitely, and I think the most important thing you got to remember about defense on this site in particular is how many angles there are to exploit, right? So that means that if you lose a player so early on, especially, you've essentially just left an angle open, right? I mean, especially losing a player like that who literally, you know, essentially did nothing to help whatsoever, didn't even waste any time. I could see what he was trying to go for there. He had a glance out, he saw a player, and then he double like guessed himself. So as he peeked again, he was like, I'm gonna quick peek, have a look, and I swear I saw someone. And as he did that, he ultimately paid the price. We do see Adrian now though going once again aggressive. He's got the first frag of this match, so he's looking for another. He is playing Finka, so that LMG is going to absolutely start hounding up that site. Bullets are going to start flying everywhere, and people are going to start losing their lives. And as they slowly but surely get those meeting hatches open, the pressure is going to be more and more applied to this site. Positions are not going to be able to be played at anymore because, well, they're going to be open even more. And Kanto, just drops immediately, takes out one, and that's one on the backs is Adrian finds Dano, and it's just falling apart once again. The floodgates, I'm hoping, but it's soldiers who do it this time. I mean, that is just back to back kills. That's a flawless round for them, setting a very good pace at the start of their first attack round.
Yep. Again, bad start for Pretorian at the beginning of that game, especially with Forever falling down pretty early on, just due to a wild swing towards the Finka who existed outside. And in that round, there was just a lot of good, there was a lot of good cross angles set up for Machine Soldiers, especially on that attack. We think back to that E-box hatch drop where it was Kunto who just dropped down into E-box, and probably a lot of people were like, okay, why did he do that? But he had support for him, you know, in rear stage stairs, with Adrian able to cut down a player who was playing in Shaiko as well, so that swing didn't come out in time to shut down Kunto. And Machine Soldiers, just like how Pretorian did in their last attacking round, Machine Soldiers rolled over Pretorian in their own. Pretorian decided to go back onto this basement site, and the focus should be to not give up early picks so easily for Machine Soldiers. We know how aggressive they can be, but we also know that they have some good mechanical players as well.
5 seconds to go.
Definitely so, and I mean the mechanics that, you know, they've shown it, you know what I mean. Machine Soldiers, you know, they had maybe a rocky start defense, but I'm feeling quite confident with them on this attack. You know, especially after our last round, they showed they could be just as ruthless as Pretorian. And these drones are coming on through now. Will reveal the setup, getting rid of those ADS, which can be so crucial. You might as well back out of there right now, but Jaeger goes, I'll give you another one. Which isn't terrible, to be fair, because it means now that they can still keep playing there. And that position, obviously, is such a strong one, but it doesn't mean people like Rafa right now don't have an ADS for himself, which means he's potentially open for a nade. It looks like they're just storming this attic and this big tower, and they're looking to potentially do the same thing once again, get that E-box open, and then look to start applying pressure on that backstairs. As you know, like I said, once again, creating those different angles, making it an awkward position. It's a bit like chess. If you have the position very, very like not like commonly done, you know, so like people are sat in different locations, different angles are being played, it does make the position very awkward. It makes it very hard to sort of understand what the next play is. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing coming out right now.
5v5 staying still between both of these teams, but Machine Soldiers, while they don't have any opening picks, they do have a decent amount of map control, especially on that first floor area, and meeting two players hiding out in construction, gonna put pressure onto the players playing on this E-box wall, also on Shaiko as well. But also keep in mind that there is a player in elbow, so they can't quite rush into here quite yet. They have to get rid of that shield, and without a forest on the board, well, this makes it considerably hard to do so. Grenades do go out. A peek from Coles deletes him from the map as Lim is able to get that pick. Forever does find a refrag onto off the board, so a lot of execution util in the form of those smokes and in the fire to keep those defenders back. Those smokes obviously covering the plant. That's a lot of util gone for Machine Soldiers, and a flank as well from Pretorian. He gets a third on a round, but they drop the round as well. Vern in the 1v5 situation. Forever allows so much space to be able to swing and not being shut down by a single Machine Soldiers player. Habana has 4 players to find, sorry. Does have 2 kills and 5 deaths, so not having the best of games, but they are on that support role. Smoke grenades go out just below that E-box hatch, and again, the Habana has no way of clutching this round.
Most definitely. So, I mean, 20 seconds is not enough to work with. I mean, that's a kill every 5 seconds. I mean, you're wasting time going for flash. You drop down this box, you're gonna die. Dano, though, will fall. That'll be forever, sealing the deal, taking out the last remaining player of Soldiers. And, I mean, what a round for Pretorian. I mean, they played absolutely insane then. I want to give all due respect to Forever because that man was absolutely on smoke. I mean, he definitely brought it. I mean, he literally went back to back to back kills. Nothing could stop him there. I just feel like he just felt like he was top of the world.
Indeed. I mean, when you get a quad like that, especially not being able to, no Machine Soldiers players being able to touch him, because his movement was just that good. He was swinging onto every single one of those Machine Soldiers players. He could have easily got himself the ace that round, but we'll settle on the 4K as he is 8-4. Also, another player to shout out who's doing really good so far in this game is most definitely Coles, who is 10-4 as well. So both of them keeping Pretorian on their backs, but it doesn't mean that the other Pretorian players aren't doing their job. Obviously, Rafa, good support player. And for Machine Soldiers, 5-3 down, so not the end of the world. Kids Dorm is going to be your site to attack. And the interesting pick is going to be Heavy going on to that Gridlock. Now, I have so many opinions about Gridlock herself. Now, obviously, over like when you compare as well, obviously she does have that shotgun in order to do soft destruction ability from below and create vertical angles for your team. But the downside is that those track stingers, especially when you're depending on them for a flank, they can just be easily destroyed by the defenders, and by even a lot of them can be destroyed at once by a single impact grenade. But they're also one shot as well, and it's not really good enough for stopping the flank like an air jab would be, because the air jab blows your opponent back. It leaves them vulnerable for gunfight, and you can just easily swing on them. Whereas the track stingers, they don't offer that. Now they don't really offer that. So it'll be interesting to see how Heavy does with Gridlock in this round and what they can bring to the table.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, Nomad does free up the free kill if someone's nearby, but I think Gridlock just, you know, she does 2 jobs, right? She alerts, she does damage, as well as, you know, she also kind of burns utility, right? You have to sort of burn your impact nades on those track stings if you want any sort of, anything to sort of go down. Forever taking heavy damage right now as Vern is chasing him on down Forever, so he's getting the hell out of there. But ooh, Vern with a beautiful little angle to take out Forever. That's a beautiful start so far for Machine Soldiers. I do apologize, guys. I literally cannot speak today, apparently. But it's a 4 versus 5 now, minute 30 on this clock. It's looking like they spotted another player on out, but Dano says no to Kunto, and that will be Kunto falling as now 4 versus 4. Perfect opportunity for Pretorian, and they managed to get another kill, but Dano immediately falls as Vernie takes him out as Coles gets a kill. It's still a 3 versus 3, no lead so far. It's just back and forth belts so far. With a minute left on this clock. Time is ticking for these attackers to get into this site. And as that time ticks on down, the advantage leans more and more in the defensive side. Adrian, though, trying to take some kind of aggressive approach. He's got that adrenaline boost that allows him to tank some extra damage. He knows one inside of Hobo, but Bombi taking out Adrian, but Bombi immediately gets refragged. That's absolutely beautiful. It's now 2 versus 2. It's back to back to back. And that's Coles taking heavy fire as he's sat in attic. This LMG rips through the mat, looking for these players. Vern playing very, very patiently. He's waiting for potentially anything to come out on this side. No smokes though, and no nades. It's going to be all up to the gunplay right here. 20 seconds on this clock. The floodgates need to start opening. As time is ticking, there'll be one falling. Vern will take out Rafa, and it's all up to Coles now in a 1 versus 2. One will push up very aggressive. It's looking like Vern. Vern, though, will he manage to get himself that kill? But one is on the back, and it'll be Vern taking out Coles, and that's a Vern ace! Absolutely beautiful from him. Oh my god, I didn't even pay attention to Vern getting that ace. But oh my god, absolutely beautiful by him. I mean, that's gotta be such a hype boost for you if you're on Machine Soldiers right now.
Yeah. I mean, again, like you said, Vern just getting that ace, and that's, machine soldiers are really good. I feel like not really good, but like they're one thing that they do have over anything else is the confidence in a lot of these games, and they have a lot of people who call it cockiness, and
Attackers
you
need to
could
locate and
attribute that to
defuse
a
the
number of things. Again, like just last game we did cast 4 players who were just on this machine soldier side, and a lot of people call like a lot of those players cocky, and a lot of them like overconfident, a lot of them call them overconfident and all that sort of stuff. But those like having confidence in Siege can really ignite you in making a lot of plays like that, taking the initiative, knowing that you can win guys if you're able to just swing and flick on people and all of that crap. And
10
well,
seconds to
Burns
insertion.
does have that, and a switch up is gonna happen. And instead of having a Maverick on his side where he does support you in a split take from Attic in both master bedroom, he's gonna go on a Ayana, a more aggressive role than what we've seen Burns play in the last round. Or not the round, but the site of choice for Pretorian is going to be this kid's dorm site. And yeah, I mean, what like in that round, is there any negatives that you for Pretorian?
I guess my biggest thing at the minute is how, I guess, maybe overconfident they're sort of getting. They had that lead by 2, and it's slowly but surely, falling down. I would say that the Pretorian, are maybe the better, well-built team, but Machine Soldiers, I feel like individually, they all have something to bring, and, I think that is just ultimately what's carrying them on through, right? I don't think that Machine Soldiers, particularly, caring in the fact that they win or lose. I think they're just trying to play the absolute best. And, that puts a lot of pressure on Pretorian, right? You got to remember that as of right now, they need to win this. They want to win this, right? They want to show that, that they can play extremely well no matter who they're versing. And, losing to a team like Machine Soldiers implies a lot of pressure to them. So, I would sort of say that what they just need to sort of do is maybe try and slow things down, play a little bit more, defensive. They are playing absolutely perfect. We saw there was like refrag after refrag, which was exactly what you want. But you want to be the ones initiating the refrags. You don't want the enemy teams to be doing that. Minute 30 though on this clock, and it's still a 5 versus 5. We see Adrian though taking this aggressive approach, trying to take up these mainstays, trying to push on our bedroom side. Once again, they're doing this an awful lot, but it is working out for them, so it's understandable why they keep doing it. Fortunately, it doesn't look like this utility is being cleared from underneath, so we have to spray bullets from that LMG. Adrian though does eventually clear off that wall denial. He's now going to start making his way on up. Try and help his Twitch on out. His Lemon 2's SC doesn't actually manage to get the wall on open. And it's perfect amount. They have a little peek as well as a little hole to potentially hop on through. And also get some angles on through as well. Minute left on that clock though, and they have to start making a move. A lot of them stacked on up, left at the outside, not to get it lost in the fray. They're trying to remove that player now behind that shield in Attic as well. If that player stays remaining, it's not going to look too bad, but Forever taking out Kunto is not a good start so far from Machine Soldier. I was giving so much praise, but losing a player like that is never too fond. It looks like Pretorian are stirring up their defense. 30 seconds on the clock though, and it means that this time is ticking. You have to get in there, Machine Soldiers. And while we all know that when this time is little, it means you don't have a lot of time to focus on these players' positions. 20 seconds on this clock. Just shoot! You can literally get so many kills, Head. But he doesn't manage to do so, and he gets peeked. Forever takes out him. Ravel will do another one. Oh my god, it's just kill after kill. And that will be another round, a flawless one of that by Pretorian. Playing extremely strong together. I mean, man, they just keep on earning these rounds. It's match point for them going into potentially our last round.
Machine soldiers didn't take any initiative in that round. That's quite literally the analysis that I have. Like, no, they did have control over a trophy. They had control over a master bedroom. They had the breach open from the game's wall, but like they didn't really put any pressure anywhere else. I mean, you did have sorry, you did have a player in heavy putting pressure onto the kid's window from the outside, but not really doing anything with that pressure, and didn't even try and put pressure onto Attic itself. And it's just an easy cleanup round for Pretorian because, again, no pressure onto them. They can just hold their angles. And Machine Soldiers, they were just running out of time. Had to rush in there. Now, Basement Side going to be Pretorian as they are on match point for Oregon. And this could be the last chance for Machine Soldiers. Now, they haven't had the worst of for them, especially the team that were the runner-ups in our Titan League series and also in the Champion Series, where they won the whole and they got first place. So again, how hard the champions do indeed fall, and Machine Soldiers, again, just not having the best of luck this season. You could say that it's luck, but you could also just, put it down to the fact that, there's no real adjustments mid-game as well.
Most definitely so. I mean, we saw a very hard push on that bedroom side, which I think, they were just ready for. They all sort of stacked up. They played a sure defense. And once you're really strong, locked on in, and everyone's attacking from one way, it's very easy to know, there's no sort of switch-ups. It's all just very standard. You just sort of hold your angles, you win it, right? Because you got to remember that when an attacker swings, he's got at least 6 angles to watch, whereas you've only got 1. You're locked in your home, you're ready to shoot, right? So at that point, it's kind of hard to sort of do anything of that in between. So, what I'm looking for here is a bit of diversity, a bit of a switch up, and it looks like that's exactly what we're getting here. We've got some players playing big tower, we've got some players pushing through this blue. And, it's sort of what happens next, right? It's brilliant that you're switching it up. It's brilliant you go in different directions. But the real question is how are you going to make this work? Do you send one in and then back up from the back? Or do you send down the back, try and take that pillar control, and then sort of collapse from that point going forward? These are questions that we're going to see going on into the round. But one thing I don't want to see is that timer running on down. And that's exactly what's happening right now. A minute 30, they've only now just got those hatches open. And, there's not been a lot of there's not a lot of focus on exactly what the plan is. You would expect blue to at least be burnt out by this time, but that hasn't even been done. It's only now being done right now. Looks like those nades are going on deep, but Coles is waiting eagerly and anxiously. Does get eaten up though, that nade will. That might potentially have bounced in a pretty bad location. He could have died for that, but Forever taking out Heavy. That's an early kill, but Lemon's too zesty. Immediately taking out Rafa after that. A minute left on his clock and kills are already coming on through, and it's now a 4 versus 4. The real question is do Machine Soldiers fall today, or do they keep fighting strong like the soldiers they are? And that'll be Lemon too zesty getting taken out by Coles. Can Coles find a second? He does indeed! It's a double kill from Coles. It's now 2 versus 4. 45 seconds on the clock. And though Machine Soldiers are standing proud as soldiers that they are, it's not looking too well for them. But it's looking like Vern might potentially get himself a nice little kill. The little foot of a player who's just waiting anxiously, but Coles immediately comes on through, takes out Vern. Adrian's all left. That's Dano with a huge shotgun kill. That's another flawless round. And that's a beautiful way for Pretorian to end this map of Oregon.
Well, map 1 going in control of Pretorian. There were a lot of weird situations, not really for Pretorian, but for Machine Soldiers themselves, especially in those last 2 rounds, where they struggled to really take the initiative on their attacks. I'd say initiative, but they really struggled in putting pressure onto the site itself. They did have good map control in both of those rounds, but they weren't able to put pressure onto those players. Pretorian just sitting in pretty comfy in a lot of those rounds, especially in positions where you would expect the attackers to clear them in order to easily make their way inside of sites. Conch.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely so. I think, once again, what I was saying during that was, especially on that bedroom take when they were trying to take over bedroom against Pretorian, we saw it was just main stairs, and then it was just walking. If you don't add diversity, like I said, attackers have got to swing, and they've got to watch 6 different angles, right? Even if it's, even if the drone is brilliant, you never know where people are going to sit. Those defenders, they've got door, wall, and that's all they got to do the whole game. There's nothing to sort of stop them. There's nothing to try and switch them up. That's the only 2 places they're going to be watching. And well, at that point, as soon as you peek, as soon as you walk in, your life is going to get costed for it.
Yep. Well, Oregon goes in favor of Pretorian, but we do have another map for you guys. Stay tuned for that. It is going to be Clubhouse, and I believe that is Machine Soldiers' pick. Oregon was indeed Pretorian's pick, and so they won it. But can Machine Soldiers win their own map? Well, stay tuned. We are going to head into 5-minute break and we'll be back with Clubhouse and it'll be a banger of a match. Welcome back to Talent League. We are back with Clubhouse. Sorry for the long wait. I know I said it'd be 5 minutes and I kind of just sort of lied. But we are on the Sheen Soldiers' map pick of Clubhouse. Pretorian did win the first map, which was Oregon. And, well, we go from one boring map to the other. Starting off with the beta phase, the Habana for the board. Due to how many hatches that exist on Clubhouse and due to how important they are, Habana is a decent ban. Followed by the Finca. We've all seen her win Delta. We all know how OP she is. She's going to be the second one taken off of the board.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice, to remove off the board, but I mean, that's a targeted ban at the end of the day, right? I don't think necessarily you want to ban Finca. I mean, there's so many better options, right? Like Thatcher and stuff like that. And the fact they're banning Kaid stacked on top of that is just completely confusing, in my opinion, because you would keep Kaid in because he's not going to be a problem because Thatcher is off the board, or it's on the board, sorry. We do see Valkyrie, though, come in as our last ban. Pretty standard, especially on this map. There's some little nifty little spots the cameras can sort of hide in that are kind of hard to see that can get you some valuable intel. So, not surprised that's been removed off the board as, deciding if things go the long route, then, that will be obviously Machine Soldiers who will have Valkyrie for the longest period of time.
Yeah, like you said, it's an interesting. Finka obviously is a target ban. Obviously, she's a very powerful. I was gonna say agent. I'm thinking of Valorant. She's a very powerful operator inside of Siege, and her window to, screams volumes as to how powerful she is. If you have her on your team, it's not a guaranteed win per se. I don't want to make it sound like that, but she does boost your attacking chances just to how good her LG is, due to how good her adrenaline surge is, due to how good Frag Grenades and the Gon 6 are on the attack. But, like you said, that does leave the Thatcher open, and we all know how good Thatcher is terms of shutting down a whole map, shutting down util that'll be by the defenders, being able to shut down the ADS so that they can't deny grenades, being able to remove a lot of UTF because the area of effect from those EMP grenades are huge. So hard breaching is going to be made easier for the attack, especially with Thatcher in their lineup, and that may give the attack an edge on Clubhouse.
Most definitely. So, I mean, you know, once again, I think these walls are going to be always exposed open. Thatcher on the board just means that never in a million years is denial ever going to be a problem. We see Forever taking a little bit of damage right there. Just to start us off nice and early, you know, Forever's got to be taking some damage. I mean, you know, that man's always got to be doing something. I will let you all know as well that I have been warned that I've been saying Pretorian the wrong way the whole time. So if I stumble at any point, you know exactly why. I'm going to try and correct myself throughout this match.
To be an attack onto this dirt tunnel from machine soldiers. They're going to make some crouch holes from the Maverick and try and put pressure on Rafa, who's going to be, well, the first person they come into contact with. Now, he is behind a shield, plus he does have 3 smoke grenades, so he is going to be able to choke out time. Plus, if those attackers decide to step in to those smoke grenades, he is also going to be able to choke out a lot of health. The machine soldiers, they are moving in pretty quickly. They're able to take control of kitchen. They're able to take control of, well, most of the first floor because Pretorian are, for lack of a better term, they are turtled inside of this basement site. The Kunto's gonna just drop down into hatch. Bit of a Hail Mary strap from machine soldiers, but he's gonna be able to, he does get a kill, does get traded out immediately. 2 kills on board for Pretorian. Dano finds of his own, and now machine soldiers are left scrambling. Rafa is finally taken down as he does a smoke grenade. Doesn't do any damage to Heavy, I don't believe so, as he just runs straight through the toxic gas canisters. Now, 1:10 left to go for the attackers, and, well, it's a 3v2 situation. No nitro cells, nothing on the board to halt these attackers besides guns.
Most definitely, those nades could potentially become very, very crucial. We do see Lemons, though, pushing down these stairs, trying to block out these angles, right? This is such a strong position to hold. Gonna be using that EMP to get rid of their Runegate, potentially sprint on through. That's exactly what his plan of action is now. Runs instantly into Memorial. Can he potentially net himself up a kill? He gets shot from the backside as one is on the main stairs. He does know about this, though, and starts returning fire back, but he has took a lot of fire right there. That could potentially lead him to the down fray into this fight. Player's laying down as well, playing like an absolute little snake. The real question is only 25 seconds on the clock. What's the game plan? That'll be Dano, though, starting us off early. Trying to run on in will be Heavy, sorry, and that'll be Bombi to find him and end the round. And that's flawless round for Pretorian. Oh my god, here we go again. Pretorian steaming ahead once again. 1-0, so it's still anybody's game to play for.
Yeah. Saw the same issues that we saw in Oregon. You know, I talked about the last 2 attacking rounds for machine soldiers on Oregon, and just the lack of initiative and lack of what seems to be a plan. You saw the Kunto, I believe, just Hail Marying, belly flopping into the site from the kitchen hatch, and not really having a plan other than, okay, I'm hope for the best. He did get 1 kill, but he did get immediately traded out as well. And machine soldiers, you know, we talked about Thatcher and how easy hard breathing could be. While of the kitchen hatch on Pretorian, I believe machine soldiers did get that hatch early on. They didn't decide to go down main stairs, and yes, Bandit was in play, but again, they have a Thatcher. They could easily take the Bandit charges off of them, get it down, and be able to get a quick plant behind those black boxes, but they didn't do any of that. I didn't really see a lot of drones neither, so lack of intel gathering, not really taking advantage of the fact that Kai board, and they could just easily get that church wall. Now, Kids Dorms is going to be the site of choice, the secondary site for Pretorian after an easy round with Armory. And again, you know, hard breaching is crucial on Kids Dorm, not only for, but also when it comes to taking control of yourself.
Most definitely so, and it's interesting to see this mirror in play. I always love a bit of mirror. Pretty standard mirrors though being placed, and it's looking like they're going to go for a bottom-up clear, which is very interesting for Kunta to do, but it's definitely something that, you know, is definitely orientated and definitely needs to be something to be done. And, you know, the main thing about removing right now would be that CCTV and cash. Cash, if that's left uncontested, will be the bane of Machine Soldier's existence. They've immediately opened the jacuzzi wall, and yes, that's brilliant for them. It means it cuts off angles, it means they have plenty of space to start working with, but that mirror window is now being fully activated, which means they have to be careful whenever they sort of want to peek, or whenever they want to sort of make an aggressive play on that jacuzzi side. We do see Rafa setting up some more ADSs, trying to support this player that is currently sat. The pings are coming through though, and that could potentially net themselves some kills, but those players are going to start rotating on out, moving about, getting nice and on the go. But Bombi immediately takes heavy fire. Looks like he might potentially have gone for a little bit of a cheeky little peek, and ultimately pays the price for it. Being set now on such a low amount of HP, one bullet will seal a deal for his life, regardless of where that bullet decides to hit. Minute 25 left on his clock, and it's still a 5 versus 5. My next question to you would be, what happens next? Who gets the first kill?
Well, if we look at HP, you know, Bombi could just fall at, you know, just by a slight kiss on the cheek, and Rafa is very close to reaching that same amount of HP as well, as he takes a lot of damage from Kunto hiding on the top of secret stairs. But at the moment, like you said, no kills going through. Now, I'm not too sure where the pressure is coming from Machine Soldiers. They do have players set up on either side of the map. Obviously, a couple of players, as you can tell by the outline, is on that west side, just outside of Jacuzzi Wall. But, you know, if Pretorian get a little bit too complacent, if they start to over-rotate, they could easily get the first pick over to Machine Soldiers. But speaking of first picks, the first pick happens in Pretorian's favor, and it is Dano to get that first pick on to the Thatcher, hiding out on that construction wall, using his mirrors, you know, just to line up his shots onto that Thatcher. Now a 5v4 situation for Pretorian, and as you said before, the time ticks down, but as that time ticks down, the advantage slowly is in hand of the defenders. There goes a quick trader, 2 kills for Vernzy, as he's able to get 3 kills onto Rafa now, and Pretorian, they're falling, they're tumbling, and they're all dead. Vernzy, a 4K, a quad for the 0. It seems that Vernzy's your man, so.
Actually, someone needs to stop Vern. I mean, this man is in the slaughterhouse. He's locked, he's loaded, and I mean, he's out for blood. I mean, a 4K for him once again. We saw him, you know, in Oregon getting that ace for Machine Soldiers as well. I mean, this man is playing absolutely out of his mind, and I mean, you know, he definitely justified winning that round for Machine Soldiers. You know, as you said, what I always like to say, that time is ticking, you know, and, you know, once again, once those floodgates are open, it's hard to close them. We saw exactly that. Vern, you know, he took advantage of the time that was left remaining, and, you know, rather than it being like, oh, attackers are going to run into line of sight, Vern went, defenders now need to start thinking of where the attackers are going to start pushing in from, and he took advantage of that. No, everyone was so focused on a jacuzzi wall because that's where everyone was sort of like trying to come on through, that he just ultimately just peeked straight the way on through that construction wall, ultimately netting up some kills, running on through, getting more kills, sort of spiraling it out of control, ultimately taking the round for his 2.
Yep. Again, we saw many rounds like that from Vernzy as well. We saw him get an ace on on Oregon as well, and that one round where he was Maverick and he just completely destroyed Pretorian, getting a quad, so very close to an ace. But Kids Dorm is going to be the site again for Pretorian. They lost that last round, but it was very, very close to them winning it, especially with them getting an early man advantage. And Machine Soldiers, yet again, running down the time on their own clock. Time is of the essence for the attackers, and that's what they've been running out of for a majority of these attack rounds, and it was a mystery as to how they won it in the first place, especially with the defensive utility that Pretorian possessed. From the nitro cells, from the smoke canisters, they had everything to win that round, plus the advantage, but they couldn't pull through. An interesting pick for the attack, though, is going to be heavy on this Nook, going to be lurking through Strip Club and lurking on that first floor in general. So in case some of these Pretorian players decide to rotate maybe up main stairs or maybe down main stairs to get a quick flank in behind, maybe in cash, that's where Heavy will jump in. But he also has Kunto to support him as well. And Vernzy, still persisting onto the 0 pick.
Definitely, we've unfortunately got a DC from 1, so
Oh.
more likely all pause the game, get them back on through. Heavy just falling just a little bit short of the head of a player, playing very, very patiently above. Cooks and Nate maybe might be able to get it on back, swing it on through, but that player immediately runs away. Perfect from Bombi as well. If they'd lost another life, that would have been very, very disheartening for them. But, you know, Heavy on this Nook is a very, very interesting choice. One I actually really, really do enjoy. Bombi, though, playing ever so patiently in that bathroom, does get heavily lit up. He needs to be careful. Once again, they are down a player, unfortunately, due to the DC. But losing another player will almost definitely mean that round will swing in the favor of Machine Soldiers. With a minute 15 left on this clock. To wonder what happens next. We do see Kundo pushing on through. There'll be Dano instantly shutting him on down. Swings on through, lobs that Nitro. Adrian will find 1. That's a double kill as Dano finds Adrian and Coles will find Lemons. It's now a 2 versus 3. How on earth have Pretorian swung this back in their favor? I mean, it's anybody's guess at this point. There'll be Vern now trying to recollect all that has been lost so far. Coles, though, will find Vern's head. Vern's just not able to snap in time, and it's up to Heavy now in a 1 versus 3. 40 seconds left on this clock. He finds one, a couple of shots on through. It'll be Heavy finding Coles. But is he aware of the player currently playing in construction and one playing on that red mirror? It's going to be ultimately a huge shutdown for him. He swings on through. It'll be Rafa to find Heavy. That's round number 3, going to none other than Pretorian. And it was looking so well for Machine right there, and that would have been the round that they really needed to take to sort of gain that lead again above Pretorian. But unfortunately, just falling that little bit short, and well, ultimately goes in the favor of Pretorian.
We're gonna have a quick pause, but then repause or resume the game back up as the players or forever did indeed join. But like you said, that was looking really good for Machine Soldiers. But again, we're getting maybe a little bit too complacent and where they were positioned, and they died just as so. Now Pretorian 2-1 up. Next site is going to be basement, deciding not to experiment with the worst sites in this game, bar stage and also CCTV cache. I don't really like CCTV cache for a number of reasons, but bar stage is a site that I like seeing. I like seeing what teams do on that first floor, but alas, Pretorian not wanting to experiment with it because, well, they want to take talent leap seriously and they want to go on to the more boring side of basements. But regardless of that, also, I do want to go back onto that last round. I didn't see a lot of uses from Heavy on the Nook neither, and that could just be because of the fact that maybe the Pretorian players who were trying to put pressure onto those site players died very early on, and so when that happens, it usually leaves a hole. It usually makes Nook kind of invaluable to the team because she's there to get easy picks and to cut off rotations where it happens from Pretorian, and Pretorian didn't really need to do that because they killed everybody pressure back onto the site.
Most definitely so, and I think, you know, Heavy on that. Okay, Adrian's just gone for a team kill. What an amazing shot from Adrian. That's unfortunate, but it does mean that, well, they're in the same boat now that Pretorian were in last round, so hopefully they can play just as well as what Pret did. You know, once again, with Heavy on that Nook, you know, I think it just came down to them not sort of playing together. You know, Nook wants to sort of sneak up when the rest of the team have sort of drawn the attention to them. But I mean, that's in the last round. We're now on to a fresh new round, and well, it's gonna be interesting to see this. So the beautiful thing is that we've got one player down. That means they can view the cameras. We have another person falling apparently. Heavy, unfortunately, losing his life. And well, that's not brilliant. This is now a 3 versus 5, and we're only a minute 10 into the round.
Minute 10 into the round, and 2 players fall for Machine Soldiers. And keep in mind, that's their only soft breacher that they have. Yes, Adrian does have 3 breaching charges, but you know, the buck is used for not only kitchen but also the hallway as well, to be able to cut off the hallway rotations, and also to get a nice little cheeky angle from, you know, that hallway into I believe it is church as well, just behind those black boxes, so they can not only just it's not really about clearing utility, it's about clearing the players who exist behind that bar. Now a minute and 15 left to go for the attackers, and they keep losing men. There's no trade game from Machine Soldiers being played, and another player falls to, okay, there goes a quick trade back from Lemons though. But again, it comes out of desperation because they don't really have a lot to work with in this round. Easy Mossberg kill from Rafa. You gonna get himself Pretorian. 3-1 up. Machine Soldiers in that round just got completely rolled over. Yes, it started with the team kill on to, I believe it was, I can't actually remember who it was at this point, but oh no, it was onto Adrian, as I remember correctly, or Hebby, and then no, it was onto Adrian, and then Hebby died after that, and again, it just spelled so much trouble for them. Oh no, they're going with Ash. No.
Looks like they are doing some kind of rush sort of strategy, which I'm sure a lot of people will hate just by looking at what they've brought. May I point out the elephant in the room? Ying. Oh, it's going to be a swap off. I like that, you know, because it causes a sense of fear. But is Aruni the play after? I mean, Amaru, why did I say Aruni? God. Is Amaru the play after? Probably not, right? I don't think that's particularly the best play you could sort of swap to, and I hope he doesn't lock that in.
Who he is? I mean, the thing is that that was a really quick Machine Soldiers. It's not like they fully droned out the site and then picked Amaru just because they saw a hole in the defense. That was an immediate repick from the Kunto, and well, I mean, the thing is about, okay, she has a shotgun. That is very interesting. Also 3 flash grenades, and I'm pretty sure they probably have the SMG instead of the GOG 6. It's gonna be a quick dirt push though for Machine Soldiers, as you have Heavy pushing in there by himself. I mean, he did say in chat that that's where he was gonna push into dirt. It is gonna be also a quick repel into window. Can't react quick enough.
No.
So that was really bad play from Kunto for a number of reasons. No intel gathered on the middle of those main stairs, and you just rush right into it as well. And you're not quick enough to react or get a trade. And there is no trade value gained from that because there is nobody around you to trade you out. So early kill for Machine Soldiers, and it is also a disconnect from the Amaru too.
He rage quit.
He rage quit. Okay, he rage quit.
Apparently. But I really wanted to see a reality where he just flew through the window and just kicked that Jaeger straight in the head. I mean, what a reality that would have been. I mean, I don't know. Have we ever seen anyone get an Amaru kill before? I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't happen very often, and when it does, I would have been absolute awe. But we are going to see this main wall now start to get opened. You know, though, you know, he may have got a little bit overzealous. Maybe he wasn't the best, but he's still going to push it. But Heavy right now, he's waiting patiently. Creeps on up those stairs. Is looking for this player on rafters. If they manage to clear this player on rafters, this could be potentially monumental to this attack. This could literally sway things for them. Get on this box, try and get even more elevation, trying to possibly look for that player. But it's not looking too fair for them so far. Might be having to give up on this. Does remove it off though. There is these players that are all now just stacking up. That is a Nitro Boom, which is absolutely perfect for them so far. Can Heavy find this player? He does! That's absolutely beautiful, but that'll be calls immediately taking out Vern, so it isn't even worth it at that point. It's a 4 versus 3. That lead is immediately lost as soon as they go for it. Can this bandit be removed? That's the real question. It does indeed Heavy, but a huge kill to Dano, and that could be potentially monumental to this. Now it is a 3 versus 3. Heavy now getting this wall open, potentially using that Ash breaching round. Probably could use a breach charge. Didn't want to risk their life though. 40 seconds on the clock. They can potentially run in now, get that default plant on the go. The only person stopping this potentially Smoke, who at this stage only has one of those toxic beauties in possession. So they need to try and bait that on out. These players potentially going underneath. They might potentially be setting up to potentially shoot those players on up, or potentially get some kind of flank on the go. But these drones are coming out. Absolutely beautiful timing, because as I was about to say, that could have been potentially the round loser. So as of right now, time is ticking. 10 seconds on the clock. Heavy gets one on the forever. Plant is going on down. Rushing on through. 10 seconds. That time is on the go. Adrian gets that plant on down. Lyman's will find Rafa. It's up to Bombi now in a 1 versus 2 as Adrian will fall. But it's just a second too late. That plant is already down. And now Bombi's going to feel the pressure. Has to push on through now through that garage as he sets himself up on that side. Bombi getting heavy fire from Heavy. Just taking that green island very, very seriously. Lighting him on a 20 seconds in this post-plant situation. Bombi finds Adrian to secure himself that kill. Will find Heavy though. Unfortunately, it's just a second too late as Heavy is managed to snap on through, and that'll be Bombi falling. And And my God, what beautiful plays come out from Machine. Even though they lost a player very early on in that round.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really just Machine Soldiers. It was mainly Heavy who took the initiative to push up onto those garage rafters, cleared out Coles pretty easily after they dealt with those on my disc. And once you have control of rafters as the attackers, then you can get an easy plant down behind the server racks, or you could get an easy plant down into that other default corner right next to the hard breach wall. And it spelled doom for Pretorian. Heavy got another one as well.
Defenders, protect your bombs
Raptors
from
onto a
being
player who was
defused by
trying to
attackers.
rotate back into Cash, and then after that he got the Ender as well. So again, that's what you want from your Ash, to take up that space and be able to get more kills on top of that. Now Pretorian gonna try out the CCTV Cash site again, and it looked good for them initially, especially after that kill onto Kunto. But again, Raptors control was given up so easily to Machine Soldiers after Heavy got that easy kill into Coles, and after that it just sort of crumbled for the defensive side of Pretorian.
Most definitely so, and like you said, it was looking very strong. Got that early pick, but I just want to say, man, Heavy taking the initiative, take that Rafters, just ultimately what led the round. And I mean, absolutely perfectly executed from that point on. Time was ticking, and they used the time absolutely perfectly to get that plant on down.
And now as we get into this attack, it's going to be, well, they're not okay, they are going to bring, oh, this is nice, Flores and a Thatcher paired together, and that's a lot of util clear potential from this attack being used. The grenades, or sorry, the innate going out very early on to shut down the bandit charges that existed on that wall. And well, with these Maverick holes being as low as they are, and since the bandit charges can't go anywhere but anywhere besides the floor, these can easily be dispatched of, and there you are, they're removed, and now hard breach can just have its run of its way on this main breach on the side of CCTV Cash.
Most definitely so. At this stage, honestly, you could have not have even brought the hard breacher. Maverick literally could have made that soft. Flores could have dropped the drone on it. I mean, yes, maybe you wasted a little bit of utility, but I mean, you could have brought something else. But nonetheless, they will get that wall open. And the real question is now what's the plan of action? The wall is open. It looks like Forever will get taken out. As that'll be Adrian finding him as he's playing in the lower garage. It looks like potentially the play might be, once again, clear this play on Rafters. Let's get control. Let's see what we can do. Burn the ADSs with these cameras. Absolutely perfect. You know, you have so many of them at your disposal, you might as well use them to burn out that utility. But that player is still sat up there. Well, those cameras have sort of gone to waste now so far. But, as I say, they've gone to waste. They will get clears, and there'll be calls now falling. There'll be Rafters fully out of control as Adrian managed to take him on out. Minute 20 on the clock, and Machine Soldiers have finally woken up, it seems, and they're playing absolutely astronomical. They are playing insane right now. Minute 10 on this clock. Adrian's getting open this Rafters wall at this point. Bombi, though, waiting patiently in oil pit. He climbs up that ladder. Can he get something on the go? No, he immediately gets shot down by Adrian. Adrian on for an ace right now as he gets himself a free K. Rafter will fall down. Will find Vern, though, with a lucky shot coming on through. It'll be Heavy to seal the deal. Another flawless round for Machine Soldiers. And as they move over to the defense, they solidify things 3-3. I most definitely think this is their map.
Adrian just questioning what the Jaeger was doing there, going up the ladder. And well, when you're on a ladder, unlike any other game in FPS, you can't use your gun. So he couldn't really react on time. He thought maybe if he got up those ladders, maybe maybe Machine Soldiers wouldn't have looked at him, but they did. But the main key issue was Coles yet again falling on Raptors early on, and that of that part of garage in favor of Machine Soldiers. And then again, you said it before, but Raptors, when you get control of Raptors, you get control of that CCTV site, and it makes it 10 times harder to hold on. And you saw it there for Pretorian. They really struggled to deal with the impending pressure from Machine Soldiers. And now on the defensive side, Machine Soldiers 3-3, and on Clubhouse, where the defense is the favored side, I mean, they could set themselves for an easy map win on Clubhouse, but I want to see how Pretorian do attacks, because for the most part, you know, and this happened on Oregon as well, I wasn't really too impressed by both of these attacks, but I feel like that'll be the same thing here for Clubhouse. Now we have a double Capkin on that double doorway in towards that lobby area. So this is going to be able to shut down some of the map control that Pretorian will look to gain, especially on this first floor where the Capkin remains, but more importantly, where his traps lay.
Most definitely so, and I would like to just draw attention to those Capcans. Capcan is a very interesting choice. Do I think it's going to pay off? Not really. I don't think Capcan really brings what you would like necessarily. I mean, he does maybe do a bit of damage to some people here and there. Now, I will eat my words if someone walks in and absolutely dies to a Capcan trap, which I'm sure will happen at some point in this as well. You'd never suspect Capcan, and I think that's ultimately why people die to him. These free floor angles, though, look absolutely disgusting. But would you say, Adrian, playing it on back, playing it to their advantage now, you know? Remember that every hole you make will be an advantage, and no. Oh no, I refuse to believe. Literally, as I'm talking, and I say to myself, oh, this Capcan won't work, it won't get a kill, Coles will fall, and it's Thatcher, man. Such an important pick, falls, and
No
I don't
way.
even know. I'm disgusted. I'm actually disgusted. I can't speak.
No way. Well, our observer was told to watch something from Lemons. I can't say I'm too impressed by that. He just goes in the 360. Well played. Anyways, yeah, that's Cole's down for Pretorian, and that'll make hard breaching considerably hard. Well, not really, because they don't have a Kaid to deny the hatches, so these hatches will be dealt with. But it's not really the hatches that I'm worried about. It's mainly if Pretorian decides to go down these main stairs and get the main wall. I mean, Thatcher's not going to be really too important here because of the fact that Machine Soldiers, they didn't bring a Mute, they didn't bring a Bandit. Not to say that Mute is too important as of now, especially in denying hard breach. It's mainly for denying. But Machine Soldiers didn't bring any of that, so they're going to be depending, not really on the hard breach now because they don't have any, but mainly on the flanks that will be coming in from Heavy. Oh god, he should have gotten that kill, but forever just, he doesn't even flick back towards him, he flicks away, and that is a missed opportunity from the Capkin. 35 seconds left for Heavy, or not for Heavy, but for Pretorian in order to make their presence known inside of the site. And if they don't shut down Heavy, like so, he could just easily drop down into the main push. Gets a second, 20 seconds left for these attackers, and they're nowhere near are in dirt with the fuser in Rafa's hands. There goes kill, pop and flash like he's KO and get a double, but it is a double for Machine Soldiers to end that round. Well, they put themselves in the lead 4-3.
I don't have any words. I feel like at this stage, if I speak, I am deeply in trouble. Once again, the caster's curse has cursed me once again. I said, there's no way a Capcan kill will come through. Bang, Capcan comes through. I don't know why I speak sometimes. Sometimes I overspeak for my too much for my own good. Heavy was, I honestly, if I have to be completely honest, as soon as Heavy peaked, that's when he should have died. Yes, he should have got the kill onto that player, but the end all be all is that he shouldn't have lived for another round. As soon as he peaked, everyone should have been like, oh, let's get Heavy, let's clear him, then let's push.
Yeah.
Why they left him alive, I do not know. I mean, it shows that you leave him alive and Heavy will be the man to answer.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair with you, Bombi was expected to get that kill and cut off Heavy's rotation from Strip Club. As you saw, he failed to do so. Heavy able to drop down into Moto as well and get a second, again denying the main stair push from this attack on Pretorian. And like you said, once he shot at them, once they saw him in Strip Club, I don't really have a trouble turning around like that. Maybe what they could have done, like you said, is just hold passive angles and wait for to them, because eventually Heavy's going to want to do that, because sometimes Machine Soldiers, they can get really impatient, but even then, you know, the site pressure from Pretorian would have made Heavy rotate, and we do get to see the Azami in play from Heavy. That's allowed, isn't it? I think so.
Yeah, most definitely so at this stage. I actually don't know how legal that actually is. I'm pretty sure that we're still in a period where should be technically banned. So at this stage, I don't even know. I think we're just gonna live with it for now, but I'm sure that is an illegal pick. It might not be. Tomorrow should be fully
Tomorrow.
legal, but maybe that's why she's allowed now. I don't know. I just don't know the rules, but nonetheless, we're just not going to progress. We're still going to push on through.
It's illegal. She just can't use utility. Just we don't want a headache.
Okay. So
Okay.
we've just been told by the lovely producers that she's allowed. She just can't use anything. So she's essentially just a gun on wheels, which is perfectly fine, I guess. I don't know why you bring her, but there we go. There's a huge impact from underneath from Adrian, tagging up forever, almost potentially getting himself another kill, but also potentially dying for himself. Minute 3 on the clock, and that's Vern immediately striking back, but there'll be calls with a strike back onto Heavy, and there'll be Vern getting another kill onto Forever. I mean, Heavy and Vern right now are the go-to men. These men are always in action, they're always on the go, but I must have jinxed Vern right there. Rafa will find him. It's now a 3 versus 3, tying things back on through, making things nice and lovely for us. But the real question is what happens next? Minute left on this clock, the site needs to be taken. But you have a lot of these strong defenders still in play. This mirror is going to be a problem, as well as Kunto, who's playing this other mirror, playing very, very patiently, waiting for this Thatcher to potentially overstep his welcome, overstay as well, potentially taking out his life. 45 seconds. It's still anybody's to sort of play with. It's currently still a 3 versus 3, but a cooked nade comes on through a boom! Bombi with a huge nade onto Kunto. Adrian though immediately strikes back, taking out calls, and Adrian now playing in the aggressive position once again, potentially looking for Bombi, who's currently scaling the building, and is now waiting ever so patiently for a potential kill. 15 seconds on the clock, time is ticking, Rafa jumps on in, can he potentially find this kill? Mirror hops on through, it's a bad time, but oh my god, Lemon takes out Rafa! It's a 1 versus 2, it's over to Bombi, but he doesn't manage to find anything as Adrian takes him on out, and oh my god, are we about to see a potential machine win? I don't know, for the simple reason of whoever's put 10 on machine is about to get a huge payback for the predictions. And I don't even want to see it.
You know what? I don't want to. I don't even want to question that. The thing is about that last round, Pretorian could have easily, and it was good from Bombi to cook that nade and that being played from, I believe it was the Kunto onto that mirror window in logistics, able to deny the denier who was. Denied that push. I'm using denial. Denied that push from Pretorian, where you one of the players positioned that, but then he decided to rotate out of construction, and instead Pretorian, thinking that maybe Jim is. Both of them decide to jump in that window. They decide to go separate ways. One went into the bedroom, kind of just moved his way over into that hallway area. Had they killed the mirror, that's the part to Lemons. That should have been an easy kill from Rafa, but he just didn't get it. I don't really know. He just didn't get it.
Yeah, most definitely so. I mean, like you said, Lemons should have died fully there. That should have been the end of Lemons. That should have been a potential higher play. I wouldn't have been surprised if Lemon had died there, if Pretorian would have actually sealed the deal. But, you know, regardless of that, we are now seeing Machine Soldiers once again defending this cache CCTV. And, you know, it's one of those interesting ones. They haven't done anything astronomical. They're playing pretty ordinary. We do see Lemon, though, wait very patiently as that construction wall gets opened. And as Adrian also backs him on up. Could potentially see Adrian falling if he's not too careful. Goes for a bit of a swing, though. And he gets himself a kill onto Forever. Oh, my God. I mean, it's like the Ejing 3 right now. Adrian, Heb, and Zern are just absolutely out of their mind currently.
Yep, again, he speaks to the confidence of these players, able to take these direct gunfights and challenge Pretorian head on and not get punished for it. Look, speaking of getting punished, Lemons is going to get punished. And I mean, that's the mute off of the board, so I mean, his utility in terms of what he brings and those mute Germans, they're already placed down, so not a lot lost apart from the Nitro Cell, which could be used to deny a plant, though. And it seems that Adrian has just scared off Rafa from ever pushing him again. Rafa and he did get a kill from this position, Coles. doesn't exactly have the
A bomb
intel
has been located.
on the position of Adrian neither, and gonna push into bathroom. Hopefully not too blindly because he has a drone there. He's gonna wait for that drone, gets that intel, can now swing. Does he get this kill? Yes, he does. And now we're at a 3v2 in Pretorian's favor. Will my disc go out? Or nope, sorry, it was going to be prepped to go out in order to, well, cover that doorway that exists inside of Cash, so no grenades can safely just ring on through and push Kunto out of his position on the top red. Also, Echo Drones being positioned, waiting for that execution on that west side of the map, but it may be a rotation from so Dano existing on the side of roof, looking to put pressure onto the CCTV wall that they opened up earlier, and maybe get himself a pick onto Heavy.
Most definitely so. Time is ticking, and time is going to be of the essence. Raptor hops on through into that construction. The stun grenades are coming on through, trying to get that plant on down. But Echo might potentially stop it, but he doesn't manage to. But Heavy goes to the swing, takes out Raptor. It'll be Dano taking one. Heavy, though, takes out Dano immediately after. And it's a 1 versus 1. Heavy versus Calls. Heavy, though, having to use the pistol. Oh my god! Heavy to seal the deal! How has he just gone and done that? Oh my god, I have no words. Heavy with the absolute pulling out the Kratos, and my god, does that weapon slam. And it's now match point for Machine Soldiers. Everybody right now in the chat, their channel points are quaking.
Channel points are quaking, and you just have to wonder how Pretorian losing these rounds, especially with the way that Machine Soldiers are playing. You know, I'm gonna be honest, it just seems like Machine Soldiers are little times, but they're still winning. It's 6-3 at the moment. Pretorian haven't found the answer. I praised
Defenders, protect
their
your bombs from
to
being defused by
adjust.
attackers.
Sorry, I praised them before for their ability to adjust, but it just doesn't seem like they're able to adjust to the defenses that Machine Soldiers are bringing to them. How aggressive they. I think back to that one round on the basement where Heavy was still in strip club. Pretorian knew, and they weren't able to cut him down. And now in that situation, it's just a little bit hard to watch Machine Soldiers. They could easily get a point from this game and deny Pretorian all 3. Pretorian, they need 3 rounds in order to bring us into overtime so they can potentially grab the 3 points themselves. And they're not going to go down without a fight, but
5 seconds left.
I don't think Machine Soldiers are going to let this one slip from their hands.
Attackers are moving.
Most definitely not. I mean, you know, right now, if Machine Soldiers, when Pretorian had lost their player fate, secured that round, I mean, it'd literally be in their favor right now. So, if by any chance, for whatever reason, Machine Soldiers start losing, Pret start bringing it on back, I mean, if you're Machine Soldiers at that point, you are disappointed and you're not going to be particularly happy. But we have confidence in Machine Soldiers. You know, once again, I love a story of an underdog. And I mean, Machine Soldiers, probably the best we're going to get at this stage of potentially taking at least a map off of Pretorian.
Let us see, because Pretorian have been on fire all season. It's just been the last few games, or the last 2 games, it just hasn't been what we're used to seeing from them, which is just dominance over teams, especially in Machine Soldiers' position. And they haven't been, like, on Oregon even, there were times where they weren't able to fool the situation, and now in the clubhouse, it's the same old story. But again, they have the potential to put this into overtime to get themselves all 3 points, extend their lead at the top of the table, and get themselves a record of 6-1-1 instead of 5-2-1. And for the most part, I mean, they're off to a good start in this round. Going to take the control of the first floor, get those hatches open, Moto hatch in particular, and also getting the very first pick into this game. That's Heavy falling, and that's the Thunderbird off of the board. Now, you don't really lose she brings to the table in those counter stations because they're already pre-placed, but you do lose nitro cells. And on a site like basement where there's a lot of vertical angles working against you, there's a lot of vertical angles that the attackers can establish, those nitro cells come in handy in just getting an easy pick or 2 in order to deny more vertical angles being made against you.
Definitely, we see a failed impact trick right there. Lemon also taking heavy fire. Adrian might potentially get a net kill, but Rafa will find Lemon to seal the deal on that damage that was dealt to him. It's now 3 versus 5. Minute left on this clock. Time is ticking. And once again, my favorite saying of the day, time is of the essence. Time is slowly slipping, but I mean, with a 2-player lead, do you really need that time? But, you know, that time can always zap from out under you very, very quickly. 40 seconds left on that clock, and it's looking like the angles are trying to be found by from forever. One drops oil pit, and they'll be contested, but unfortunately Bombi will find Vern. Vern will fall. Plants going on down now from Adrian, as they don't have church control. It's now a 2 versus 5. It's going to be an uphill battle as that plant goes on through. Adrian, unfortunately, will not get the kill, but Kundo will be backing him on up. Will get a kill, but unfortunately, Forever will seal the deal. Well, it's looking pretty well right now. That potentially Pretorian might actually come back on through, as that was an absolutely brilliant round from them. But Machine Soldiers still threatening to seal the deal and end this game on match point.
That was a bit interesting. Machine Soldiers was deciding between basement and gym bedroom. Finally decided to go for gym bedroom instead. An interesting pick is going to be the castle plus Heavy going back to the cap can, and that's going to stick for the defense because unlike attackers, they don't have the option to repick, and we also don't have 6 picked anymore. So those picks are going to stick in that rhyme. But castle and capcan now, what they bring to the table. Obviously, we saw it in a couple of rounds ago where Pretorian were attacking the basement site, and the first kill to happen on the board was from Heavy Capcan traps on the double doorways leading into rear stage itself. And obviously for Castle, what he brings to the board is just, you know, denying specific entry points around the map and also making attackers waste their utility on his castle barricades, because if you don't know, those castle barricades aren't one hit. They take a lot of hits, but if you use specific utility like a sledgehammer or like an impact round from maybe Sophia's launcher, because Thanos picked Sophia, or even if you bring a Ash, or if you have a Gone 6, those can easily take out those castle barricades in one hit. But again, you lose a piece of utility in having to take those castle barricades out. And Captain's going to be very pivotal in slowing down the attack coming in from Pretorian, but
definitely so. I mean, you know, Sledge on the board means that these castle barricades aren't going to live for very long. You know, it doesn't really soak up the utility like they sort of hope to. Obviously, the further ones, like the one in Gym, watching that jacuzzi wall, might be a bit of an issue that we might have to burn a bit of Zofia on. You know, maybe a nades as well, but not really. You know, just want to keep them for that sort of instances where you might need them a lot more. You see Adrian though on this road, sat in toilets, currently in calls, very but slowly, surely, pushing and creeping on through. The real question is who sights each other first, and who will get the frag out. And it looks like Kunto will be beginning us off with a kill on the Dano, an absolute perfect start. Adrian though taking heavy fire. He's now going to be backing away. Not exactly good for him. He's getting himself a little bit trapped. We'll do a little bit of damage to Calls though, but Calls will ultimately fight on back, taking out Adrian with a beautiful wallbang. A little bit of a switch right there. It's now even back on through to a 4 versus 4. Lively though slightly in the favor of Machine Soldiers. It's looking like they're going to be wanting to take this round. Once again, you know, maybe nerves again a little bit now. You know, it's they're getting to the end. You know, this is it. And as I see that, Calls will get another kill into Heb. It's now a 3 versus 4. Machine Soldiers, you can't be losing an early frag like this. And right now, it's once again looking like potential another round from Pretorian.
Yep, seen this on Ogren as well, where they just gave up picks very early on and very easily as well. Now, just to house a part of this floor and bathroom has been tiled off, and so that it's not destructible any longer. Usually a nade like that would have killed the Mira in an instant. It only did a little bit damage to her just because she was hiding right above that concrete floor. Oh, almost a nice flick from Coles. Doesn't net him the kill, but he does get killed himself. And now Lemons aggressively pushed up on Shaguzi. He has nowhere to go apart from in bathroom, as they can vault right back behind the mirror. But oh, look at this. Bernsey able to make this a 2v2. The last 2 players, one of them is outside of Jacuzzi wall. The other player in Bombi, no clue where he's at apart from the top of main stairs in this main stairs hallway. They're gonna have to go directly into master bedroom in that doorway, or maybe make a rotation out of the window, but don't have enough time. Bombi desperate, Pretorian desperate, forever desperate. Are Pretorian 5 seconds left to go? Can Pretorian find himself a ever finds, but he can't find himself a second. He doesn't even know where goes the exact opposite way, and it's Machine Soldiers to take the second map of Clubhouse, their own map pick, and Pretorian, they haven't had a win in the last 2 games, or they haven't had a win in the last game, and now that continues on into their second game.
I can't right now. I honestly I can't. That was
Yeah,
really,
Pretorian
well
won the
played by
game
them.
on Oregon.
I mean, let's be real, right? Whoever just put 10 channel points on Machine Soldier is about to get a huge payback. My God. I mean, what a game from both sides. They both played extremely well, but Machine, I will say this, they came out, especially some of the players, they come out with such velocity in that last round. Ultimately came swinging on through, and I mean, wow, what an amazing play by them.
Yep. It seemed when Praetorian were on their attacks, it took them a little bit too long to warm up to what Machine Soldiers were bringing. The adjustments came a little bit too late for them, and we did see them get a nice a nice round win on Basement. But that was just a consolation round, and Machine Soldiers able to comfortably pull through. And like I said, last match against my SJ Esports, they lost that game, and now in this one they only get a point. So out of the last 2 games for Pretorian in the major leagues of Talent League, they only have 1 point in 2, and that's a little bit unfortunate for them. But I think that will be the end of me and you, unless you have anything to add to it, any extra insights for both of these teams.
Like, I just wanted to say once again, both teams played absolutely phenomenal, and they should both be proud of each other. You know, most definitely. Both fought really hard. I really thought we hopefully eventually see Pretorian potentially bounce on back. But it wasn't looking so prosperous. But I'm just glad both teams came out of this now with a nice draw, and yeah, just well done to both sides.
Fair enough, and well, that ends it for the both of us. That ends it for Talent League for this week 8. I don't think we have any other fixtures. This is the only one for this week. And then maybe next week we'll probably have a couple, huh? Yeah, Friday got canceled. So okay, this is the only game of this week. So you won't see Talent League up until next week and up until the Champion Series, which is very soon. This season went by very quick, and it's upsetting to say the least because it's gonna end very, very soon. But that'll be it for me and Conch. That'll be it for Talent League for the rest of this week. And if you enjoyed it, well, why don't you follow and you know not only the Twitch but also the Twitter to keep yourselves updated on future matchups. Again, also follow me, please. I beg of you, because I do want more followers. And also follow Conch. He's a great caster. And we also have production as well. Rick and Morty, an amazing production manager, and Epsilon. Make sure to give them a follow as well. But make sure to stay talented and also stay hydrated, as my friend Jaeger would say. We will see you guys next week. Make sure to tune in.